Everyone mentioned today is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, and everything I discuss here is theory until proven fact, even if it is.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life. I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on this shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seeds as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
How's it supposed to feel? Hey guys, how you going? Okay, I wasn't here yesterday. Remind me at the end to tell you why. Oh no. How you going, Alex? Good to see you. John, how you going? Deb, out to lunch. Me. Shannon, how you going? Not to forget Shannon. Don't forget Shannon. Who else have we got in here? Shannon, Deb, Alex, okay. J1, how you going? Good to see ya. I think I've got everyone. Okay. Let's get into it. Deep Web Slinger said, do you remember the Lahaina, Hawaii fires? Well, Greece is going through the same thing right now. Canada's been going through it too, haven't they? Oh, God. Pray for Australia. I'm not looking forward to summer this year, because I'm in the mountains no matter what. Senator Matt Canavan said Chris Bowen is praising the efforts of China and India to lower their carbon emissions. Really? They're on their way up, mate. What are you talking about? Chris Bowen is our energy minister, of course, useless. Hey, Zena and Dealey, how you going? Good to see you. Lozzie B said, how is this corrupt government still in power? Labor paid off the Governor-General $200,000 every year on top of $500,000, and this is what we're up against. Let's have a listen to this. Hopefully it's not too loud. I'll turn it down if it is.
What planet are we living on where I'm having to stand here and point out to this Labor government that a $200,000 pay rise for the Governor-General putting them on $700,000 a year is absolutely callous, while millions of Australians struggle to afford their groceries or pay their bills. This is not a reflection on Sam Mostyn herself, but I'm sorry, no one needs to be paid that much. Who else is getting a 43% pay rise at the moment? It's an absolute insult to people struggling with the cost of living coming from a government that is totally out of touch with what people are facing. It aligns the Governor-General with other overpaid executives and bureaucrats on taxpayer dime. The CEOs of corporatised government services like NBN and Australia Post are paid over $2 million a year while overseeing cuts to services and bungled rollouts. Reserve Bank Governor Michelle Bullock is on $1 million while she oversees interest rate rises that have caused so much pain to families across this country. This legislation is even being rushed through Parliament. If only Labor showed a similar determination for fixing the housing crisis. Yeah. The Greens oppose this obscene increase in salary for the Governor-General and will continue to fight for real cost of living relief for all Australians.
Authorised by E. Watson Brown, Australian Greens, Taringa.
Oh, that was the Australian Greens, and even they're peed off. That says something. Hang on a sec, guys. I've got a cough already. Okay. Toby Thatcher said, Sydney, Australia, this is an invasion. Yeah, well, there's a protest to match that one on the 31st of August. All around Australia, actually. This is not Australia, mate. It's not what Australia looks like. I'm sorry, but no. C3 said, so, are we supposed to ignore that illegals are getting kicked off Social Security after we've been told illegals can't get on Social Security? Once again, Americans have been lied to. Are you surprised? Hey, Gen X, how you going? Good to see ya. Bicco, oh my God, Bicco Konstantinos said, I've said it before and I'll say it again, they're coming after your homes. Radical push has announced to tax Aussie workers' family homes, strong arguments for doing so. Economics professors call for capital gains tax on family home. This may seem distasteful, they say, but there are strong arguments, and that's all they say. What strong arguments are there? Radical push to tax a family home to boost the government coffers in Australia. Great. Oh, far out. This is all exposure, by the way. It's exposing the normies to what's actually how corrupt they are, okay? Elon Musk said they've been publishing fake crime stats to cover up how bad it is. Farzad said this is an unbelievable read. Oh, Anna Giaritelli said thread, this is the most important story I've told. My story, I waited 5 years to share it and I'm ready now. I'm Anna. I can't pronounce the last name. I'm very sorry. The DC police are covering up crime, I know, because they covered up what happened to me. 5 years ago, I was violently attacked and sexually assaulted in a broad daylight in Washington, D.C. by a homeless man. He served time in federal prison for what he did to me. But if you look for evidence that the attack happened in D.C. crime statistics, you won't find it in the D.C. Police Department crime statistics. The truth of what happened to me and the D.C.'s government's role in it, as much a public scandal as it is personal trauma. D.C. police covered up the unspeakable wrong that the stranger did to me. Even though a judge sentenced my attacker to hard time in prison, DC police leadership would rather deceive the public and appear less dangerous than list mine and countless other essays on their website. The extent of crime in DC has been debated since Trump announced on Monday that he would take federal action to crack down on DC crime. But if the public wants to have an honest conversation about crime in DC, the DC Police Department will first have to be honest about how prevalent crime is. Without MPD's honesty about the crimes that it's chosen to hide from its public-facing stats page, the White House cannot get an accurate picture of how bad the problem actually is and adequately fix it. I was a Washingtonian for 7 years. I was saving up money to buy a condo and planned to spend the next few decades in Washington, the intersection of politics and media. DC's crime problem was something you lived with. You took Ubers and Lyfts, told others if you were walking after dark so they knew when you were home, and you to be aware of your surroundings almost to the point of paranoia, ladies. On a Saturday morning in 2020, I walked out of my apartment on Capitol Hill to mail a package at a post office several blocks from the US Capitol. I put on my sweatshirt and sweatpants and headed out the door. I never made it to the post office. Just 1 block away from my apartment's building entrance, I was attacked by a large man well over 6 feet tall. He charged at me for a reason that I still do not understand. In broad daylight and on well-travelled 2nd Street, NE, next to Union Station, I fought to get away as he essayed me. If it had not been for others in the vicinity, including a construction worker named Donnie who heard my screaming and ran to my rescue, I don't know if I'd be here today. Why am I writing this op-ed? Despite my background working with federal law enforcement, it was only through my experience as a victim that I learned personally of 2 ways that DC police and the courts fail the public. I share those now with the hope that they inform the public and leaders to improve how crime is handled and prevented. My attacker was arrested on the street months later, charged, pleaded guilty to a sex abuse charge nearly 2 years later. MPD's Crime Cards online statistic page omits mentioning it though. Do you know what that communicates to a victim? How invalidating is that? When I asked the DC Police Department in 2020 why my incident was not on its crime map, an MPD spokesman said the city only includes first-degree felonies under its crime stats. That would mean for every person robbed, assaulted or sexually abused in anything less than egregious ways, you have not been counted into the total tally. The pain you suffered was not severe enough according to MPD standards. In a follow-up email to DC Police Department this week, an MPD spokesperson stated after a back-and-forth exchange that the map includes some sex abuse charges, but not all of them. In my case, my attacker's crime against me, which landed him in prison, is still not listed. The 54 sex abuses over the last year listed on Crime Cards DC Gov are a lie. There are countless more abuse victims who have cases moving forward that the DC police have refused to tally in their counts. The DC police did do something right. The day of my attack, the police collected my clothes for DNA. About 2 months later, they contacted me to say they had a match to the DNA of a homeless man who had been previously arrested. Police arrested him, but he was immediately released from jail by the judge who presided over the case. Again, are you surprised? Here I was, a single woman who was attacked a block away from my front door, not jailing him till trial felt like a death sentence. How could I leave my home with him out in the streets, living in a tunnel a few blocks from where I lived? Trial proceedings were set to begin in the fall of 2020, but amid the George Floyd riots in downtown Washington, it was delayed till early 2021. Then the early 2021 start was delayed until the end of 2021. The US Attorney's Office assured me it was not because the federal prosecutors were busy bringing hundreds of cases against January 6 offenders. Oh, no, of course not. The man who attacked me was arrested by diligent DC police officers on 5 separate incidents as we waited to go to trial. But after every arrest, the judge permitted his immediate release, even when he was caught in public with a machete. I've thought about these failures by the police and courts for the past 5 years, but I've not been sure how to bring attention to them. Right now, we have a rare chance to bring meaningful change. I've shared my story. Will anyone hear and respond? Please share my story. Awareness to the problems can bring change. End of thread. Holy guacamole. Actually, I'm going to like that lady's thread too. Okay. McAmius, official, 31st of August 2025, March for Australia, Australia-wide. Locations confirmed and released. If you can assist in organising Canberra or Adelaide, please reach out to Beck Freedom or March for Oz to assist due to last-minute changes. The day is for you, the people. Okay, what have we got? We've got March for Australia, Melbourne, the 31st of August. Flinders Street, Melbourne. Sydney, Belmore Park. Brisbane, Roma Street, Parklands. Adelaide, to be continued? I don't know. TBC, whatever that means. To be continued. Canberra, to be, I don't know. I can't think of another word to put in there. Perth, due to last-minute negotiations with police, the location is yet to come. Okay, there you go. So if anyone in Canberra or Adelaide can help, please reach out to Beck Freedom or March for Oz to assist due to last-minute changes. Okay, Wall Street Ape said this is why Vegas tourism will stay down. American shows that in his Vegas hotel you can't even use the mini fridge anymore. They've equipped it with sensors, and if you put anything inside, you'll be charged $50 per day. A $50 a day service fee will be applied for storing personal items or altering existing items within the minibar. Refrigerators for personal use are available for a daily fee. What?
This is how ridiculous Las Vegas is. So, here's your room, and you have a mini bar, except you cannot use the mini bar or the refrigerator for storing anything without paying a $50 service fee. Come on, Vegas. Do better.
Jeez.
This is how ridiculous.
Okay, someone has said, who is it? I want to find. Janelle, confirmed? Yes, to be confirmed. That's exactly what it is. There you go. Thank you, Janelle. Good to see you.
Las Vegas is. So.
Okay. Real Roberts said Doge investigations confirm that USA did indeed give Chelsea Clinton a grant of $82 million through the Clinton Global Initiative, $3 million of which was spent on her wedding, and another $11 million on a mansion, where Ghislaine Maxwell happened to be there as well. Okay, Matt Van Swol said this 22-year-old Troy Plemons, during the flash flooding in Chattanooga, Tennessee, he jumped out of his utility truck and swam through 8 feet of floodwaters to rescue a woman trapped in her car. The car then vanished under the water 60 seconds later. He's a hero. This man is a hero. Swimming through that water to try and get that lady. It doesn't look like 8 feet. Looks like 5. His head's popping above the water. If he's 6 foot, then that might be 5 foot. I don't know. The car is what put me off. It's still sort of up. You know what I mean? Doesn't look like it's 8 feet under, but then again, they say it went under after this happened. Maybe it's hanging on to the side. I don't know. There you go. It's hanging on there. Yep. Still a good guy for going, a hero for going in there and rescuing her. Okay, back to Australia. Walsing RN Lilydale said Labor hiding the truth on under 16 social media ban. Is anyone surprised? The Albanese Labor government has finally released the so-called documents behind its under 16 social media ban, but the reality is Australians still don't know the full story. Out of 30 documents identified under a Senate order, 3 were withheld entirely under public interest immunity to protect cabinet deliberations. The other 27 were heavily redacted, with large sections blacked out for commercial sensitivity or labelled out of scope. Wow, what does this remind you of? I've seen files like this, FOIAs like this before. Many of them. I remember reading one. Blank said blank, 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 blank. Wow. Oz Integrity said, guess what, EV pundits? You've been taken for mugs, electric vehicle pundits, by the way. Prepare for your incoming electric vehicle per kilometre charges. For ICE car drivers, don't worry, Labor's coming for you too on top of fuel excise. Albo has led the worst government since Whitlam. The Albanese government is proposing yet another tax, and it's fair to say Aussies have had enough. Well, let's see the Aussies on the 31st of August. Yeah. Puerto Rican said this is too good. Okay, ready for this? Okay, this is Spies Like Us by the look of it, with Trump putting his head on it, and what's the name? Ursula von der Leyen and Zelensky. Okay, let's see what it says.
Snow is falling down in Alaska town.
Okay, can't play the music. Being chased by a polar bear. Having fun. Who did this? Now they're chasing the polar bear. And now the polar bear's dancing with them. And now they're all hugging. That is not a real polar bear, by the way, guys. Don't go and try and hug a polar bear. I've seen some comments on some videos lately that are like, oh my God, you wouldn't, would you? people having pumas as pets and all sorts of things, and people going, oh, now I want one. Well, go and watch the animals attack on YouTube. You'll find out why you shouldn't have one. How you going, George? Good to see you. Okay, Batman said yes. Why? Explain to me why your electric bills never decrease even though we've swapped to all LED lights, Energy Star appliances, built massive solar and wind farms. Yeah, you want to explain it to me like I'm 5? I'll wait. No problem. Kobe Thatcher said New South Wales Premier Chris Minns will spend $1 million of taxpayer funds on setting up a support hotline for Islamophobia. What about Australiaphobia, English phobia? How about that? I don't know what he classes as Islamophobia, but I think it's probably the Australian people saying, we see what's happening in the UK and we don't want that here. Yeah, ring, what do you call it? Ring Lifeline, the support hotline for Islamophobia. Okay, if you get upset, ring Lifeline, mate. That was an old Australian saying. If you get upset over anything, just ring Lifeline. If you get upset at me, go and ring Lifeline. Hey, Timmy, how you going? Good to see ya. Roller said, my boss at work starts discussing the planned 31st of August rally. He's never attended a protest, but declares that this one he wants to attend. The silent majority is waking up, slowly, but it's happening. I hope to God I don't have a headache on that day. V said, people have said that I shouldn't march on August the 31st because of my Greek heritage. Look, you are very welcome. I was born in Australia. My parents came out when they were toddlers. They assimilated and worked their butts off. Migration in the 1950s is totally different to the state of affairs that Australia's in now. Look, the Itai's coming here, that was great, absolutely fantastic. The Greek coming here, that was good, great, okay? It's just, since then, we've just seemed to have gone off kilter. Out of control. Okay? Yeah, I'd love to see, Zena, I would love to see, what's his face? He marched in the Palestinian protest. Assange. I'd love to see Assange there. So, yeah, I wonder if any politicians will have the guts to attend, Zena. I want to see Julian Assange there. That would be interesting. Go up to him and say, why are you on the government's side of Palestine? Like, I get the Palestinian people, right? But they're not really Palestinian people. They're people from all places. But they're being run by Hamas, and even the Palestinian people hate Hamas, who are starting the trouble in the first place. Run by the CIA and Iran. Anyway, let's not worry about that. Right Angle News Network said, breaking, it's been revealed that $250,000 of Pacific Palisades fire aid money meant for victims was funneled to George Clooney's NGO, which funds gender justice champions in 40 countries instead of assisting residents whose homes were destroyed in the devastating blaze. Wow. Oh, hey, George, I didn't see you in there. God love you. Good to see you, mate. The notices said fury has erupted in Victoria after it was revealed that schools are quietly teaching children as young as 5 about transgenderism. Again, are you surprised? You've got an insane lady run the place, I don't know. Okay, Camus said, the elites won't tell you this, but the science is clear. A groundbreaking study from the University of Nebraska revealed something shocking: raising more cows could actually save the planet. Turns out cows are carbon negative. They produce more oxygen than the methane and carbon they emit. So what's the solution? Eat more steak, save the world. The climate activists won't like this. Yeah, neither would half the people I saw commenting on someone owning a puma. But facts don't bend to ideology. Yeah, exactly. Same goes for people who want to own a puma. Or a bear. Like, are you fucking serious? Bears, lions, tigers, like people who own these animals, I think there's something wrong with them, seriously. Sorry, but I do. They're not meant to be pets, mate. They're wild animals for a reason. Lozzie B said the only person that can remove our corrupt government was paid off by them. Again, given $200,000 extra per year. by the Albo government on top of her $500,000 she already gets. Rosita Diaz said he should resign. I wish he had a long time ago. The PM who failed to pull off the voice thinks he can deliver a Palestinian state. Anthony Albanese's gesture politics can have no substantive impact except to embolden Islamic extremists, undermine peaceful efforts, undercut Australia's relationship with Israel and put further strain on the US alliance. Great. Just great. James Woods said this explains it. This is Gavin Newscombe with Soros' son. What's his name? Soros, the young one. Alex Soros? I think that's it. That explains a whole lot, doesn't it? I wonder if he's visited Australia recently. I don't know. Carter Hughes said, holy cow, Janine Pirro has reportedly asked for the videotapes of James Comey's interview with the Secret Service. Do you want Comey held accountable? We all do, I'm sure. Russia. And his daughter, remember his daughter? The Epstein, Maxwell, Diddy. And who was the other one? Anyway. Yeah. The prosecutor. She didn't prosecute much at all, did she? Chicago won race that AG Bondi has federalised the DC Metro Police and put the US Marshals in charge. 156 arrests made, 27 firearms seized in 2 days, no sanctuary status for illegal. Meanwhile, Muriel Bowser checked out and went somewhere on vacation. You got to love it. Well done. Again, with AG Pam Bondi, Eric Doherty said she just revealed citizens are coming out of their homes in Washington, D.C., thanking police after Trump's federalisation. Imagine that. They support it. They live there. Despite what we've seen with these crazy protesters out there, citizens are coming out of their homes and they're going up to these law enforcement officers and they're thanking them for keeping them safe and making the streets safe again. Yeah, you got to, go into... Hello, Anthony. Do I snore when I sleep? I don't know. I probably. I don't know. Do you? It's a good one. Thanks for joining us anyway. Chicago One Ray said Pam Bondi sent a letter to 32 mayors and multiple governors telling them federal funds will be cut off if sanctuary policies don't end. They have a week to respond. Illinois has been giving illegals free health care through Medicaid to the tune of $2 billion until Trump stopped it. Wow. As you can see, I did a Pam Bondi search. Okay, see what's going on. Yeah, if I do snore, I'm asleep. I did. No, that was something. Oh, no. Have I woken myself up snoring? God knows. Next News Network said breaking. Elise Stefanik just dropped the political Moab, which is the mother of all bombs. Bombshell letter to AG Pam Bondi warning that Standard Chartered Bank funneled $9.6 billion in illicit payments to terrorists and that China used it to buy sanctioned Iranian oil. Here's the kicker. Whistleblowers say New York AG Letitia James knew about the dirty money, approved the bank's annual report anyway, and may have been working hand in glove with the Biden administration to look the other way. Servers in New Jersey allegedly helped move the cash. This isn't just corruption, it's a direct pipeline of terrorist financing operating under the noses of Americans' top law enforcement officials. If true, it's treason-level betrayal hiding behind a deferred prosecution deal. The question now, will Bondi act or will the DOJ run out the clock and let this expire on August the 19th? The walls are closing in. America deserves answer before more blood money moves offshore. There you go. That's from Elise Stefanik. Libs of TikTok said Sean Dunn, the unhinged lunatic who was charged with a felony after he threw a sandwich at a CPB officer, is a DOJ employee. Pam Bondi confirmed that Dunn has been fired from the DOJ, fired and received a felony. Fuck around, find out, mate. And he did. Libs of TikTok said Justin, attorney for DC, Janine Pirro, announced that the man who threw a Subway sandwich at police officers in DC will be charged with felony assault. So there you go. Oh dear. Suburban black man said President Trump speaks with reporters. Sorry, I just read Shannon's comment. Oh dear. Yeah, and George, if I do snore, I'm asleep. I don't know. Suburban black man said President Trump speaks with reporters aboard Air Force One while travelling to Alaska, where he will meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Sorry, I'm still laughing over Shannon's comment. I'm not doing this for my health. I don't need it. I'd like to focus on our country, but I'm doing this to save a lot of lives. Sorry. That was President Trump meeting Vladimir Putin, okay? Travelling to Alaska on Air Force One. I've got tears rolling down my cheeks. Rob Smith said he hasn't got a decent bone in his body. Make no mistake, Albanese and his mates look down their snouts to hard-working Australians. The ones who keep the country going, the taxpayers, you know, them ones. This low leech has never given, he's on the take, and what's even worse, he think he's owed it. Never forget he'll retire on $450,000 per year for life. Taxpayers pay for it. We slug our guts out for this piss-weak bastard. He pisses our money up the wall on his gimmicks like solar and wind. Over $1 trillion we owe. We owe this, not the government. We do. And they will fleece us to no end to repay it. The interest alone is bleeding us dry. He's turned Australia on its head. The bloke has no morals or decency. He's sold us off for cheap political points. Fancy being praised by a listed terror group. Sickening stuff. Yes, Hamas has praised Albo, okay, for recognising the state of Palestine. Ah, good one. I need a sip of my tea. Sorry, guys. Oh, shit, that was hot. I just burnt my mouth. Okay. Mac the Truckie said, I'm throwing my 2 cents in about the 31st of August. Just get behind it. I heard the same rhetoric because people are saying it's because some neo-Nazi person, that Sowell person, said to go and protest, right? People are saying, no, it's a Nazi protest now, right? Even Topher Field, I was a bit disappointed. Today he put out a video saying, don't go, it's turned into a Nazi thing, right? And I'm like, if we had listened to all of this shit before, we never would have protested, right? So go, and if you see men dressed in black or all dressed the same with masks on their face, just turn, point at them and say, Fed. Are you a Fed? Okay, that's what you do. Okay, I heard the same rhetoric during the COVID freedom movement. Every rally I organised was apparently a psyop. Apparently I was controlled opposition. The neo-Nazis are behind it. I heard it all. Just turn up. Senator Babbitt said the globalists don't... Okay, this is taken from... Oh, what's his name? Famous comedian. Anyway, the globalists don't want thinkers, they want obedient workers. That's why your kids are taught nothing of real value. They want them smart enough to run the machines, but not smart enough to understand how they work or where they fit within the system. Do you get it? What was his name? He's famous American comedian. Oh, my God, I can't believe. George Carlin. George Carlin, that's who it is. Okay, Holden Culotta said Nicole Shanahan just hosted the most censored woman in America. The Wall Street executive abandoned her career after a pharma CEO told her that he knew their drug would kill people. But we can still make $7 billion from it. Now she's Big Pharma's worst nightmare. I might have to put this one in the medical folder for Rumble. And hopefully if Timmer can join us on my Monday, his Sunday, hopefully we can have another call in where we talk more medical shit. Okay, Roxanne Fernando said I'll be going to whatever march that takes place on the 31st of August in Melbourne in my capacity to cover the events of the day, as I've done for many other protests and rallies over the year, me too. I've become more aware that from the get-go people linked via hijacking the march have espoused views which I do not agree with, and I've personally been subjected to racial attacks and threats to not turn up by these same types of individuals when discussing the day. To me, Ruxan Fernando, he's an Aussie. Okay? He integrated. He speaks the Aussie. He just speaks Aussie. He's an Aussie, okay? I don't care where you come from. I just think that the amount of immigration, and I believe it should be stopped from everywhere until it's sorted out, not just people who are black, okay, or dark-skinned. Everywhere. It should be stopped until we can sort this shit out. Okay. Fortunately, I think the vast majority of people still attending are going for the right reasons, and that is to march for an Australia that includes everyone that loves our country but also hates the policies which are destroying it. I also know many are genuinely oblivious to the initial hijack intentions by organisers to trick and use their attendance for purposes of supporting Nazism and white supremacy. Over the last few days, these extremists have openly been rejected and humiliated into distancing themselves as they are at odds with the majority of the country. However, this does not mean they will still not try and make it about their cause on the day, as I said, go. And if they are dressed in black with black masks on, ask them if they're fed and point at them as well while you're saying it. As they are desperate and unashamed in attempting to smear everyone as one of them. In these circumstances, it'll be more important than ever to have independent records of what happens on the day, and I encourage anyone still attending to document aspects of the day, especially the positive that you see. Unless there's an overwhelming presence of Australians that reject the extremist sentiment, the reality is that the mainstream coverage will be more negative than usual. In fact, there's a possibility the rallies will be used by governments and authorities to push back against all reasonable discussion on topics like mass immigration. Don't worry about what you're called, okay? For God's sake. At some point, you've got to not worry about being called a racist, a xenophobe, a homophobe, a Islamophobe, or any phobe, okay? Just stop. Stop. Don't worry. Okay, I want to applaud the many people with platforms who have spoken out against these extremist elements and exposed their plan to the wider public. Many have had to take on criticism and accusations when in reality they could have just sat by and not warned people. It saddens me that the mere act of showing national pride and standing by the flag has become this divisive. That'd be the government for you. Ask them if they're a Fed, seriously. But hopefully people that still turn out on the 31st can make a positive stand for Australia and reject any attempts to glorify extremists in their name. And these are all the comments against Rukshan Fernando about him not being Australian. What's News said this protest is directly against letting migrants like you who pervert our culture and browbeat us for telling you you're not one of us, for fuck's sake. Adam Whitechapel said you're a subcontinental, you'll never be a... Oh, no. No, he is more than... Oh. What have you guys all been doing? Hey? Standing up for Australia. What have you been doing? A lot of yous. You morons. Sorry. Holy shit. Hey, Adama. How you going? Good to see ya. Flyby Stew. How you going? Good to see you. Sherry. How you going? Good to see you. The Road Knight said sentence reduced to non-parole period of 8 years for breaking into a house, stabbing the husband and murdering his wife. Was there a discount because of intergenerational trauma? If so, what discount on sorrow and grief do the surviving victims get? This is ABC News, mind you, okay? Juvenile who murdered Emma Lovell in 2022 has sentence reduced on appeal. 20-year-old man pleaded guilty to her murder and will now be released after serving 60% of his 14-year term. Why do they do this? Okay, anyway, I don't want to know anymore. Election Wizard said breaking DC sues President Trump, claiming he cannot take over control of a city. DC Metro Police Chief files document with court saying, in my nearly 3 decades in law enforcement, I've never seen a single government action that would cause a greater threat to law and order than this dangerous directive. It has been done before. Just because she hasn't seen it, that means shit. Okay, Topher Fields said they may take our lives, but they'll never take our soy sauce fish. Oh, wait. Soy sauce fish now banned. South Australia will be the first state to do so. If you go here in Australia, if you go and buy sushi at all, right, you get these little things with them, right, and they're full of soy sauce. Right, and I cannot find a soy sauce that equals these soy sauces. It's the nicest soy sauce you've ever tasted. Anyway, they're going to ban it now. They're cute. They got little fishies. They're in the shape of little, because it's you know, sushi soy sauce. Anyway, the Vigilant Fox, here's another thread. Roblox child predator problem just got weirder. I talked about this the other day. Roblox child predators. Roblox is a child's site. Okay, it's a children's site, so you've got to know this. If you've got children, don't let them on Roblox at all. A major company with 380 million monthly users is siding with predators over children. Sounds unthinkable until you see what Roblox is doing. The story is so disturbing you'll feel sick knowing it's real. Is it just what I said the other day? The person who... It's a massively popular mobile and console game among children, okay? The platform boasts more custom-made games from users than you could ever count, giving Roblox virtually infinite replayability. However, some of these custom games have become a magnet for child predators. A horrific example is XYZ Public Bathroom Simulator, a game where it is commonplace to see naked avatars, predators, showering with kids. That's the whole premise of the game, according to 22-year-old Roblox YouTuber, Real Schlep, who I mentioned the other day, who's getting censored and kicked off Roblox for exposing predators. 7.4 million users, mostly children, have been exposed to filth, and it's still widely available for anyone to join. Why? Real Schlep has been exposing how there are so many predators on Roblox platform that it's actually unreal, and parents aren't aware of this, he warns. I get emails from kids daily about the horrible stuff they're exposed to. I get emails from parents talking about what their kid were exposed to. If I were a parent, I'd be outraged. According to Real Schlep, his efforts have led to the arrest of 6 different child predators over the past year, something he says law enforcement is glad when people give them this information. Here's one of those arrests in action. Okay? How did Roblox respond to Real Schlep helping get child predators on their platform arrested? The company sent him a cease and desist letter and terminated all his accounts. A glaring example where reporting a crime is punished more than the crime itself. I urge you to take less than 2 minutes out of your day to listen to the full video. Should we do it? Let's have a listen.
I have just gotten a legal complaint from Roblox. I'm not even joking. They have sent a cease and desist letter to me, and they've gone ahead and banned every account I own. And you might be wondering, what heinous crime did you commit to possibly deserve that? Well, what I did was get predators arrested on their platform. Actually, 6 of them. I got 6 predators arrested within the Roblox community. Some of them, the crimes are so heinous, I can't even say here on TikTok or wherever this is going. And the thing that's crazy about it is that Roblox has taken a more firm action against me, a person getting these people arrested, a person that law enforcement has made public statements saying that they are glad when people like me go ahead and give them information so that they can arrest these people. Roblox has sent me the cease and desist letter, not these predators. That is absolutely insane. And the other thing that's crazy about this is Roblox itself. It is a predator haven. There are games on Roblox like XYZ Public Bathroom Simulator. That's about 7 million visits, and the whole premise of the game is showering together with kids. That is the whole game. If you join it, you're going to see predators, you're going to see naked avatars, you're going to see people peeing and all this sort of weird stuff. If I was a parent and I saw that, I would be outraged.
There you go. According to India Times, Roblox accused Real Schlep of sharing or soliciting personally identifiable information. Schlep was gobsmacked and wondered if Roblox was referring to the practice of turning over the information of predators to police. Like, does Roblox understand that, he said? Schlep defended his actions, saying his efforts were in good faith and aligned with the same tactics used by law enforcement. Schlep has drawn overwhelming community support, with most users siding with him over Roblox. On Reddit Games, one Redditor delivered a scathing statement on the Schlep case, receiving the most upvoted comment. History has proven again and again that it's infinitely easier for corporations to silence and censor whistleblowers than actually work on fixing whatever issue they're bringing attention to. Roblox doesn't have a child predator issue if no one's able to report it. Oh, God love you, Deb.
Deb Richardson tipped $3.25. Hello Hev and her pussies, Hevites, please if you can support our Hev so she can keep bringing us the news and allows us all to have such a great community. Prayers for our Hevites that are not here or are unwell.
There you go. Okay. Where was I up to? Roblox doesn't have a child predator issue if no one's able to report on it. Thank you, Deb, you're a legend. The fact that his Schlepp's investigations led to 6 actual arrests made by the police acting on outside evidence is proof enough his efforts aren't misguided. India Times also reported that when Schlepp was younger, he was groomed by a Roblox developer, hence why he's so determined to expose them. His mother filed a complaint with Roblox, but they brushed her off and the predator continued abusing others for years before being banned. Real Schlepp was so traumatised by the experience, he even made an attempt on his life. That happened under David Bitchute's watch, who has been Roblox's CEO for 21 years now. I'd check his hard drive. He's been oddly silent on the Schlepp fiasco. In March of this year, brushed off parents' concerns about safety, saying if you're not comfortable, don't let your kids be on Roblox. Okay, don't. Everyone? While he's been quiet, Roblox has been attempting to justify nuking Schlepp's accounts and condemning vigilante justice against child predators. But the backlash has been fierce, with Roblox even receiving a community note on their X post stating they have a known history of being ineffective at keeping their game safe from child predators. There it is there. The optics have gotten so bad for Roblox that American lawmakers are now getting involved. On Wednesday, Rep. Ro-Khanna D, a CA, issued a public statement condemning Roblox for not doing enough to protect kids from child predators. He called on Americans to sign this petition on his website. The goal is to get 1 million signatures by Friday to push Roblox to do more to protect our children and prosecute predators. Oh, are they going to bring in censorship then? I don't know what the end game is here. If you're a parent or Roblox user, I urge you to sign Rep. Khanna's petition and uninstall Roblox from your devices. I would do that first, uninstall. Roblox has chosen to be a safe space for predators over children, and nothing teaches a company a lesson better than hitting them where it hurts, their wallets. I'm pretty sure this is something the left and right can get on together, so... Clandestine said, observe the timeline. Yesterday, Trump takes federal control of the DC police for 30 days, deploys the National Guard to secure DC. SecDef has unnamed specialised military units on standby. Today, Trump notifies Smithsonian he'll be reviewing their collections. This means that Trump will have access to the Smithsonian tunnels beneath the National Mall, while he just so happens to have military presence and full control of DC. These tunnels could be used to mask the movement of troops, perps, equipment, etc. I find the timing of Trump conducting a comprehensive internal review of the Smithsonian museums to be a little suspicious, to say the least. And anyone who knows anything knows the Smithsonian is corrupt. Very, very corrupt. Okay, Vigilant Fox said revolt, Republicans are fighting back. GOP governors are now openly talking about redistricting to counter Democrat gerrymandering schemes. Governor DeSantis said he even caught Obama trying to rig Florida's map. Then he dropped the numbers that could change the midterms. In 2018, there were 300,000 more registered Democrats than Republicans. Today, there are 1.3 million more registered Republicans than Democrats. No more sitting on the sidelines to get steamrolled by Democrats. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis joined Sean Hannity on Fox to talk about Florida's potential redistricting plans. But before the conversation even got to that, he went straight for the heart of the Democrats' playbook. DeSantis exposed a long-running nationwide Democrat gerrymandering operation dating back to the Obama days. According to DeSantis, President Barack Obama and Attorney General Eric Holder oversaw a coast-to-coast effort to manipulate election maps during the last census. It was so pervasive that it didn't just solidify blue strongholds. He said they even tried to rig Florida's congressional lines, and he caught them. Obama and Holder gerrymandered brutally across the country in this decade's census. They actually even got into Florida, and I had to veto the legislature's map and ended up proposing one which was much fairer map and much better. He pointed to California as a case study in how the game is played. On paper, the state uses an independent redistricting commission. In reality, he says it's stacked with Democrats, Liberal Independents and Liberal Republicans. The result, heavily gerrymandered map, and Governor Gavin Newsom is already looking to push it further. Once the groundwork was laid, DeSantis turned to what Florida is doing now to address the gerrymandering problem. He revealed he's working directly with Trump's Commerce Department to secure the state an additional congressional seat, one he believes Florida should have received in the last census. Florida, we got shortchanged in the census. This alone could be huge. The governor said the new population data clearly shows Florida's growth was underestimated, and if the Commerce Department agrees, it would trigger an automatic redraw of congressional districts. That would obviously force us to have to redistrict, so we're working with the Commerce Department to see how that's going to shake out. But even if the new seat doesn't happen, DeSantis believes there's still a strong case for a remap now. There's some racial gerrymandering that's still lingering that we have to correct, per our recent Florida Supreme Court decision. The bottom line is that Florida's current map doesn't reflect the state's explosive growth over the last 5 years. Florida in 2020 versus Florida in 2025, you're talking about a big change. Our districts are not properly apportioned, and if we were to do new districts, it would be a much fairer representation for the people of Florida. Okay. Hannity pressed him on how many seats Republicans might stand to gain under fair maps, but DeSantis avoided putting a number on it. I don't know, because I think Florida, our constitution limits. You can't draw snake districts in Florida. They've got to be normal-shaped, compact districts. Then came the number that grabbed Hannity's attention and could have had major implications for Congress. This was a political warhead that could land right before the midterms. But I will tell you this, when I got elected governor in 2018, there were 300,000 more registered Democrats than Republicans. Today, there are 1.3 million more registered Republicans than Democrats. It was seismic. The governor called the swing unprecedented. Over his tenure, Florida has added millions of residents, and the voter registration balance has shifted from a slight Democratic edge to a commanding Republican advantage. If Florida redraws its map before the midterms, that change could translate into multiple new GOP seats. As the interview wrapped, DeSantis continued to hint that redistricting is coming and that this time Democrats won't be the ones shaping the lines. If you look at a state like Florida, we're a red state with a few blue dots. If you do fair maps, Republicans are going to do much better. He accused Democrats of a long-standing tactic, taking heavily blue cities and carving them into surrounding red areas to keep themselves competitive. That's what they've always done. Illinois is the most blatant example where Chicago's voters are stretched across far-flung districts to dilute Republican numbers. That's what they did in Illinois. They take all these voters in Chicago and they draw districts stretching out all across the state. DeSantis says Florida has every right to do a redraw based on its rapid growth and political shift. So Florida's gone very red during my tenure as governor. Our population has grown and we have every right to be able to do new districts. And the timing works in their favour. Now we don't have, our primaries aren't even till they're more than a year away. This will probably be something that we will work with the legislature on in the spring and be able to deliver, I think, really strong maps. The message from DeSantis was loud and clear. A major political shake-up could be coming and Florida may be ground zero. This is what Florida's current congressional map looks like. The state has 28 seats, 20 held by Republicans and 8 by Democrats. If DeSantis follows through with new redistricting plan, the impact could be gigantic, not just in Florida but in Washington. A few flip seats here could be the deciding factor in whether Republicans keep control of the House in 2026. There you go. Special thanks to Overton News for helping put the thread together, and if you like, you can follow the Vigilant Fox on X. Okay, Naz said, deep state panic. CIA officials tried to gut DNI Tulsi Gabbard's declassification of the Russia hoax files. She overruled them. Trump approved it. Minimal redactions, no edits. Here's what they wanted buried. The just declassified 46-page House Intel report shows Obama-era officials fabricated the January 2017 ICA, suppressed intel that Putin expected a Clinton win, laundered shoddy sources, violated IC standards and misled the public. CIA careerists submitted heavy redactions and edits. They wanted to keep the truth hidden. But the DNI has greater D-class authority than any IC element and doesn't need their sign-off. Gabbard released it. Trump backed maximum transparency. The declassified documents show the Obama team manufactured an assessment they knew was false to sell the lie that Putin colluded with Trump, working hand in glove with friendly media to undermine a sitting president. Of course they wanted to keep this hidden. Even CIA Director John Ratcliffe strongly supported the release despite internal pushback. Translation: parts of the Intel deep state fought sunlight. Leadership sided with disclosure. Elections really matter. That's why they tried to prevent Trump's election. Democrats screamed sources and methods. Senator Mark Warner called the release desperate and irresponsible. Funny how national security always means hide the receipts when the receipts hurt them. Yeah, that's what they do. They always say it's a matter of national security when they could be guilty of something, okay? Trump on Obama, he's guilty. This was treason. They tried to steal the election. Speaker Mike Johnson, Congress may subpoena Obama over the alleged coordination with Intel to frame Trump as a Russian asset. Meanwhile, Pam Bondi has formed a DOJ strike force that convened a grand jury to pursue indictments tied to the hoax. If the IC was weaponised against voters, accountability must be criminal, not just political. Bottom line, the 2017 Russia ICA wasn't intelligence, it was a coup attempt, rushed and rigged to smear Trump before he even took office. The declassified docs are clear, which is why they tried to hide them even now. I'm going to have to try and look up those documents. What are they? Okay, I'll find out. What I'll do is, hang on one sec, guys, while I just work this out. I'm going to bookmark this to the top again so that I can go and have a look. So I remind myself. Carl Metis said President Trump just posted a press briefing at the White House. One by one, Trump, Bondi and Hegseth delivered major announcements and clues on what's coming next directly to the American people. Here's everything you should know. No joke, it gets crazier the further you read. Federal Takeover Declaration. Trump invokes Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act, which is what DC is, a District of Columbia. DC police are now under direct federal control. AG Pam Bondi takes command. DEA's Terry Cole becomes interim commissioner. This is Liberation Day in DC and we're going to take our capital back. The military deployment orders. Defence Secretary Pete Hegseth announced immediate action. 800 DC National Guard troops deploying to streets. Additional specialised units on standby. Federal military backup if needed. They will be strong. Oh, goodness me. They will be tough and they will stand with their law enforcement partners. The shocking crime statistics. Trump reveals DC's murder rate compared globally. 41 per 100,000, number one that we can find anywhere in the world, higher than Bogota, Colombia and Mexico City. Car thefts doubled in 5 years. Carjackings more than tripled. Secret weekend operations. The federal surge was already underway. 500 federal agents deployed last week. FBI, ATF, DEA, Park Police, US Marshal Service involved. Dozens of arrests made over the weekend. Criminal photos displayed at briefing. The triggering incident. What sparked this unprecedented action? Trigger warning. Former Doge employee savagely beaten by a band of roving thugs after defending a young woman from an attempted carjacking. And his name was Big Balls. Left dripping in blood with a broken nose and concussion. The enforcement philosophy revealed Trump's message to criminals. They fight back until you knock the hell out of them because that's the only language they understand. On protesters spitting at police, you spit and we hit, and they get hit real hard. The homeless camp elimination. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum's progress report. Over 70 homeless camps already removed since Trump's executive order. US Park Police now allowed to enforce the law. Trump said, we're getting rid of the slums too. We have slums here. The cash bail system overhaul. Trump announced sweeping changes, federal statute changes to eliminate cash bail. Every place where you have no cash bail is a disaster. Republican Congress support secured for passage will extend beyond DC to other cities. The Putin summit bombshell. Trump revealed his Friday plans, meeting with Vladimir Putin in Russia. I'm going to be telling him you got to end this war. Land swapping negotiations are expected. The juvenile crime crackdown. USA Attorney Pirro's warning. The current system, violent juveniles go to family court and they get to do yoga, arts and crafts. New approach, adult crimes deserve adult penalties. Oh, yeehaw, go, love, go. These kids understand we can't touch them because the laws are weak. Exactly, and that's why the kids do it. The national success numbers. FBI Director Prakash Patel's enforcement update. 4,000 child victims identified, 33% increase this year. 1,500 kilograms of fentanyl seized, enough to kill 115 million Americans. 19,000 arrests in 2025, double last year's rate. Murder rates on track to be the lowest in US history. The legal authority limits. Trump can control DC policy for the police, for 30 days initially under Home Rule Act. Extensions require congressional notification. But Trump warned we'll bring in the military if needed. Full takeover needs Congress to repeal the 1973 Home Rule Act. And that's the DC, Act of DC, not the Constitution. Why this all matters? This represents the most significant federal intervention in DC since 1973. First time Section 740 used for crime control. Sets precedent for other cities Trump mentioned, Chicago, LA. Tests constitutional limits of federal versus local authority. Could reshape urban policing nationwide. And Trump said other cities are hopefully watching this. Thanks for reading. If you want to, you can follow Carl Mehta, MEHTA, on X. Okay. There you go. That's interesting. Booker said when Adam Schiff hears Russia and Trump in the same sentence, he's like stink on shit. Remember that time the two Russian comedians called and pranked Adam Schiff? In 2017, I do. It's hilarious. Are you ready for it? Okay, let's have a listen. It's funny, okay? And you can hear Schiff writing things down, okay? Let's go.
Hi, all right. I'm going to put Mr. Schiff on the phone, and then I guess are you going to transfer him to Mr. Parubi?
Yes, of course.
Great, thank you.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, Mr. Schiff. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chairman. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
I know that you work for investigation regarding Trump and Russian government.
Yes.
We know some important information about that.
And that is documented as well in materials you want to provide to us?
Yes. Could I explain you where we are?
Yes, of course. But, again, I would just caution that our Russian friends may be listening to the conversation, so I wouldn't share anything over the phone that you don't want them to hear.
No, I don't think that it will impact on our investigation.
Yes. Well, please, go ahead then.
In November 2013, Mr. Trump visited Moscow. He visited competition Miss Universe, and there he met with Russian journalist and celebrity Ksenia Sobchak.
I'm sorry, can you explain that again? While he was in Moscow in November 2013, he met with a journalist and...
Well, she's poor journalist, but anyway, she became famous because of Putin is her godfather.
Okay, Putin's godfather. Okay.
She also known as a person who provide girls for escort for oligarchs, and she met with Trump and she brought him our Russian girl, celebrity Olga Buzova, who also known as a person with a strange reputation.
Olga, and how do you spell her name?
Olga Buzova.
He's writing it down.
Buzova.
Yes.
Olga Buzova is a friend of the reporter Sobchak?
Yes, she's a friend of reporter and I think the special agent of Russian Secret Service, Ksenia Sobchak.
That Sobchak is or Olga is?
No, Sobchak is Ksenia.
Okay, and so Buzova met with Trump in New York at some point after the 2013 Miss Universe
yes.
pageant.
Absolutely, and she got compromising materials on Trump after their short relations.
Okay, and what's the nature of the compromise?
Well, there were pictures of naked Trump.
Pictures of naked Trump.
Okay.
So he's writing it down.
And so Putin was made aware of the availability of the compromising material?
Yes, of course, Buzova shared those materials with Sobchak, and Sobchak shares those materials with Putin because she's a goddaughter of Putin, and Putin decided to press on Trump.
And the materials that you can provide to the committee or to the FBI, would they corroborate this allegation?
Sure, of course. When they were in Ukraine, we got their conversation by the phone where they discussed those compromising materials. We are ready to provide it to FBI.
So you have recordings of both Sobchak and Buseva?
Hi.
And that's where the rumours came from about Trump and prostitutes in Russia, I believe. Yep. They were comedians ringing Adam Schiff to give him information. You could hear him pause to write it down. Gunther Eagleman said, breaking the meltdowns have already begun and they are hilarious. CNN is in complete panic over this. Why do Democrats want more crime and danger in our cities? Let's have a listen. Oh, hang on. I better turn the volume down because that last one was really low. This one's going to be loud, I'm sure. Okay, let's have a listen.
Getting reaction from D.C. council members.
We are, Pamela and Wolf. This coming into CNN from Council Member Charles Allen of the 6th Ward in D.C. His post is, quote, the president taking over local control of MPD and putting the U.S. military onto the streets of D.C. under the guise of public safety is wrong. It's an extreme, outrageous, and dangerous move for our city and the safety of all of our residents. He's the first city council member to react to this whole thing. None of them had reacted really last week to this in any real measure. This is the first time a city council member has reacted and come out strongly on this. We're also reaching out to Mayor Muriel Bowser's office and the office of the Metropolitan Washington Police Department for their response. We started to reach out to them while this news conference was going on.
She's gone on holiday, mate.
No word back from them yet. The mayor has been fairly muted in her comments on this. She did speak out yesterday in an interview, but did not openly criticize the president for this. It's an extraordinary move. We have to point out, never before in American history has the U.S. president taken over control of the Metropolitan Washington, D.C. Police Department. How is this going to work on the streets? How is it going to work from a command and control standpoint? That is a huge, huge question. And, of course, his threat to do this in other cities, we'll see how that plays out. I think you got to see how it really plays out here first.
Right, and we should also note that he talked about moving the homeless population in D.C., right. Thousands of people far.
Okay, so that's them panicking over it. The Australian said US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has labelled Australia's move to recognise a Palestinian state as meaningless, saying governments are bowing to domestic anti-Israel sentiment and that it will ultimately make no difference on the ground. Obviously. Yeah, give it to him, mate. Someone give it to Anthony Albanese, will you? Secretary Marco Rubio said the United States will not accept any environmental agreement that harms the interest of American people. You go. The International Maritime Organization's proposal for a net zero framework is tax on Americans levied by unaccountable UN organisation. And I reject this proposal. Did you hear that? The International Maritime Organization's proposal for a net zero framework is a tax on Americans levied by an unaccountable UN organisation. Maritime organisation. Okay? Koshar said breaking. Secretary of State Marco Rubio confirms that the United States has now begun the process of fully banning and designating the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organisation. That is not just normal Muslims, it is the Muslim Brotherhood. Okay, because they are a terrorist organisation. Obama was part of that as well, I believe. Red Pill Drifter said the explosion's being called a mass casualty event at the US steel plant in Pennsylvania, Clayton Coke Works. This is a few months after President Trump announced that US Steel will begin ramping up manufacturing again. If you have no pattern recognition skills, this might just look like nothing. Trump has made statements about US Steel, particularly regarding his partnership with Nippon Steel Corporation, as noted earlier on May 30th, 2025. And that's because China has been selling America and Australia and every other country weak, cheap steel. Trump announced a blockbuster agreement at a rally in West Mifflin, Pennsylvania, near the Clayton Coke Works, emphasising that US Steel would remain American, retain its Pittsburgh headquarters, and see significant investment from Nippon Steel without a full acquisition. He also mentioned a $5,000 bonus for US steel workers and doubled tariffs on foreign steel to 50%. On June the 13th, 2025, he issued an executive order approving this partnership, which includes $11 billion in investments by 2028 and a golden share giving the US government veto power over certain corporate decisions. These statements apply to US Steel as a whole, including facilities like Clairton Coke Works. The NWO does not want the US to begin producing goods since the US is the world's largest buyer of goods. The US imports $33.15 billion a year in steel. Wake up and realise what President Trump is doing. He's bringing your manufacturing back to America. Yeah. Okay, this next. Oh, my God. Okay. Nio Berg said, Candace Owens is mad that Donald Trump isn't coming to her rescue from Macron's lawsuit. Yes, she really expects the US president to take time out of his day to save a crazy podcaster who can't stop yelling about Bridget's genitals. Okay, she's bagging Trump. Why does she expect him to help her? And honestly, you got to listen to this because this is like insane. I don't know what's happened to Candace, but she's just gone like, I think she was always a lefty. She was controlled opposition.
The more that I think about it, the more absurd it is. Now, the Trump administration, who purports to care about free speech, that was what they ran on. Of course, they're not doing any of that stuff anymore. They're creating DEI for Israel and pushing through laws to redefine anti-Semitism. But they pretended to care about free speech, and you had J.D. Vance, who went over there to Europe and gave a whole speech, tisk to all of you European leaders that are no longer listening to what your constituents want and are instead punishing them for their speech.
What you did was not free speech. You insisted you had the proof and that you know that Bridget is a man for a fact. Okay, and they're bringing a defamation lawsuit against you. That's not free speech.
Majority of your constituents think something,
you
can't create laws and punish them. Like, right, that was kind of the gist of his speech. Like, the markets have decided what they want, and now you're punishing these people. That's crazy, he said. America's going to be a leader. We don't believe in this. We won't support this. Then you have a literal European leader that is basically saying F you to the American Constitution, right? Emmanuel Macron and Brigitte are saying, you know what? We don't like that podcaster in America. And we are going to launch a lawsuit that's never been launched before, an unprecedented lawsuit.
That's because you insisted you knew it was fact.
To impoverish her for speaking. And both J.D. Vance and Trump have not issued a statement. In fact, where are the journalists even asking them to make a statement? Okay.
You were bagging Trump not long ago, saying he was going to drag everyone into war. Now you expect, and you knew for sure that too. You knew that for sure, love.
A state leader is speaking about your constituent and launching a lawsuit and saying you're going to impoverish them for executing their First Amendment right. Where are you?
And now she's asking her fans to, no, it wasn't dropped. They've dropped a lawsuit on her, Shannon, with 20 accusations or something. No, the lawsuit was not dropped. It's not dropped. It was dropped. Someone misread that, and it was dropped on her. So they dropped the lawsuit onto Candace Owens, not dropped the actual lawsuit, okay? I think she's gone. I don't know what's wrong with her, but this does not make any sense because not long ago she knew that Trump was starting a war in Iran, and she knows that apparently Bridget's... no, it was because she accused Bridget of being her brother, and then they brought photos out showing both of them, okay? Apparently. Okay, so she's insisted she knows, she's got proof, she's got everything, she's got the receipts, whatever she wants to say. But she really hasn't. She's pulling the wool over people's eyes.
You are Trump. The first thing you should have done, if you purport to care about America and our Constitution, as you're supposed to be the person that's defending that day in and day out, you would come out and you would say, I don't even know whether I believe that she's a man or woman. Doesn't matter, right? I didn't watch the series. Fair. He didn't watch the series. He could even say, like he said to me on the phone.
And if Trump had have rang Candace Owens, like she claimed before, then I do believe she would have put that on her. That would have been the biggest, that would have been the biggest proof. Yeah, she's nuts. I don't know. Yeah, a lot of people were going at it. Candace Owens has gone on record to declare she never experienced racism a day in her life. She settled 37,000 thou hours for a racism settlement in her high school. Please explain. Oh, she's nuts. I think she's lost it, to be honest. Candace Owens in 4 stages, said Bad Hombre. Laughs off Macron's lawsuit and confident in my well-sourced reporting. I have nothing to worry about. Trump is a genocidal traitor and should be removed from office for treason. Please, Trump, save me now. I don't know. It's funny. Okay. There you go. Now I'll go to the comments because that is the end of the news for today. Okay, where are we? Oh, I knew it was going to happen. We'll go back as far as we can. Timmy, mate. D-Lee said, Timmy. Zena said, so how big was the scope of searching? Seems like a pinpoint to me. Deb said, hello, our doctor in the house. Alex said, they can't give the people their money back. There wouldn't be any money for their nefarious things. Shannon said, windows. I don't know what you're talking about there, but anyway. Deb's laughing at me. It's a good thing. Zena said, I wonder if any politicians will have the guts to attend. George is saying hello to everyone. Gen X said, can you please list the lifeline number? Oh, my goodness. Do you want the lifeline number? Okay, hang on. If you have a problem, please call Lifeline 131114. Okay? While I'm at it, let's have a look at weather zone because apparently we're supposed to get possibly snow above 900 metres. I'm at just over 1,000 metres, okay? This afternoon sometime. And tomorrow and the next day and the next day. Allegedly. I don't know, okay? We're supposed to get snow. I don't take much stock in what they say anymore because they lie. But if I go to the, where is it, satellite? Oh, okay. And I just, zoom out. There we go. This is the southerly that's coming up. Okay, that's the snow cloud. Hopefully it reaches, high enough and far enough east this time to hit us. But anyway, we'll see. And yesterday, okay. Yesterday I woke up in the middle of the night with a severe headache again. First time in 2 weeks. And I had it all day yesterday. I was very, very, very sick. I even had a fever. A lot of things going on. And then, I slept most of the day again. But during that time, right, when I was awake in the middle of the day, my chickens are making an awful lot of noise. And I thought, what's going on here? That sounds like a chicken in trouble. So I ran outside and there was another black cat who was trying to fight with one of my chickens. So now I have to keep my chickens locked up. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway. But yeah, they're going to be locked up for the next few days just so that cat doesn't come around, think it can have free chicken, because that's not happening on my watch. Okay. Santa said, I wonder if any politicians will have the guts to attend. I'd like to see that. Yeah, I've given the lifeline number. Zeta said, group hugs, lols. If you have a problem with anything I'm saying, please ring Lifeline. Shannon said, the deep state is in all those countries stirring up shit. Yes, it is. Shannon said, grooming, yep. Deb said, so much mental illness. George said, I thought I was mad, lol. Deb said, yes, Australia's now selling fart-free cow meat. Zena said, are we allowed to bring our pitchforks, plastic ones, paper ones? Shannon said, smug smile. Alex said, we used to have Childline here, ran by Esther Rancid Ranson, who wanted the assist death bill put through. I think the Childline was just a massive operation to single out the vulnerable children, probably. Deb said Coles was the first. Flyby Stew, how you going? Zena said, I agree, Alex. I've felt that for over a decade now. Shannon said, wow, paper pitchforks, paper condoms, where will it end? Yeah, imagine that. Paper condoms. Not good. And Anthony Tartaro said, do you snore when you sleep? No, I have woken myself up growling. Anyway, Alex said when they can't, then they come and swoop in and get those children. I think all things like that are not for the good of the child, more missing than ever now. Yes. Yeah, you get very questionable people running things like child lines and child services and, yeah. Shannon said, I see no flyby stew. Shannon said, Hamas is a terrorist organisation run by the CIA, so it's safe to say the CIA is a terrorist organisation. Just asking. Well, yeah. Yep, George, if I do snore, I'm asleep. Shannon said, sleep apnea machine. Zena said, Alex, remember how they were always saying it's about the children? They were telling the truth. It is the bedrock of their foundations, trafficking, yep. Alex said, yes, lots of these places are run by pedos. I have pedos working there, unchecked, yep. Shannon said, smug smile, let's wipe it off her face. Shannon said, have your boobs clapped turning over in bed. Anyone want to answer that one? Zena said they sold humour to Alex. Hillary was finished with her. You must finish off the pizza as they are in poor condition. George said, arrest them all. Shannon said, Alex and a fancy spell and pedo's fine. Dolores said, just popping in to say hi, too weak to chat tonight. Love to you all. Oh, God, love you, Dolores. We'll pray for you and anyone else who needs it. Flyby Stew said, Alex, it's been a while. Hope you're good and your cats. Santa said, big difference between a protester and a citizen. Santa said, will Illinois have to pay that money back? Dealey said, Dolores lifting you up in healing prayers. Shannon's clapping. Zena said, will any of these said frauds have to pay the money back? I think in the end they will. Alex said, yes, definitely, Xenotron. They have been getting away with it for too long. Don't even hide it anymore, hence why we're supposed to feel sorry for them and call them maps. Never. They're predators. Alex said, that's how to spell it, lol. Shannon said, I know, but take too long to type. George said, I prefer calling them nonsense. Alex said, hey, Dolores. Yep, I did say hello, Dolores, didn't I? Yep, sending you lots of love and prayers. Deb said, of course. It's now misinformation. Sena said, Letitia's statue might be a reminder to future black lawyers, don't be like this treasonous bitch. Yep, exactly. J1 said, George, I call them Nancy's. Shannon said, I call the wood chipping higher. George said, hi, Jay. Okay, I've never heard that saying. Sherry, how you going? Flyby Stew, said Shannon. I do like your cryptic messages, but I think you're confusing cryptic with cryptic. Bigfoot is my adopted brother, lol. Deb said, much love, Dolores, sweetie, speedy recovery, yes. Alex said, just got a message from Menacing Muskrat. She's watching as she's still got problems with her computer, but wanted to say, hello, everyone. Hello, Menacing Muskrat. Good to see you, not see you. Good for you to see us, yeah. If that makes sense. Yes, much love, Menacing. We'll see you when you work out those computer problems. J1 said, just say it, Hev, the Muslims are the problem. And Adama called in. Shannon said, I see what you did there, dog man. Deb said, hello, pain like bane. Flyby said, good evening, Miss Muskrat. We miss you, 100%. Alex said, yes, I'm not too bad, thank you. I hope you're well, Flyby Stew. Deb said, ask him how much they're getting paid to come and disrupt this protest. I'd just point to them like they did at J6 and yell out, Fed, Fed, Fed. Shannon said, I talk into a cup when I'm Bane. Sandra said, proud Aussie here, no mask, no shame to stand, and say no more. Exactly. Sandra said, him and Avi do good live streams. Yeah, they're not bad, actually. Timo said, I'm not worried about what people have said about me for ages. It usually means I'm right over the target. Exactly. Flyby said, Alex, I'm okay, thanks. Pain comes and goes. If it persists, I get pissed, lol. So I said, I guess you would have copped a lot of negativity, Timo. Shannon said, is it too soon to be talking about how hungry I am? No, I'm pretty hungry too. I didn't eat all day yesterday either. Zena said, feeling peckish, Shannon. Alex said, exactly, Timmy. People spend far too much time worrying about what other people are doing instead of minding their own business. Sherry said, my granddaughter loves sushi. I know someone who got parasites from sushi, got real sick. I will not touch the stuff. I only like the tuna ones, so it's like not even raw fish, really. It's just tuna wrapped in rice and seaweed. They're the ones I stick with because I know they're okay. Yeah, but I won't eat other sushis. And we get those little fish-shaped soy sauce things. J1 said they should ban porn in school libraries before worrying about soy sauce. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Those are trans books and things. Alex said, yes, that soy sauce is nice. Aldi or little soy sauce is not too bad. Yeah, but I can't find the one that matches the taste of that one in the little fish. Believe it or not. I don't know where it comes from, but... Flyby said, Sherry, I'm Flyby Stew. Nice to meet you. I'm from Yorkshire in England. George said, make yourself something to eat, Shannon. While you're there, I'll have a bacon sandwich, lol. Stuart, how you going? Hello, matchsticks. Keep my eyes open. Shannon said, may have to scramble some eggs. The chooks are kicking my ass. Shannon said, I signed a petition once to have a murderer's sentence extended. Years later, I got a letter to say that her sentence had been extended. Well done, Zena. Alex said, yes, I heard about that about Roblox a long time ago, and they can speak to them through their headphones. It's sick. Parents shouldn't just leave their children alone on video games or computers. I agree. Tim S. said, Zena, you bet. I've had state visits after being dobbed in, as the Brits say, for over offering $65 CT and MRI scans. Not bankrupting patients is unpopular, it turns out. Yeah, that's no good, Timmy. Zena said, Hev, it's death by 1,000 cuts they give us and get hooked, and then take it away and replace it with a gas line. Yep. Sherry said, nice to meet you, Flyby. I'm from the US. Zena said, Tim, it's a fucking cruel world. Alex said, pedos will always find a way. It's up to parents to protect their children, leave them to it for a quiet life. Yes, no, you got to parent. When you're a parent, you got to parent. Yeah, Stuart, it's good to see ya. Shannon said, death by 1,000 cuts sound like you found the paper condoms. Oh, dear. Zeta said, the trouble is they're everywhere, hiding in bushes, sitting at the bus stop. Heck, one's probably sitting in the next cubicle at work. Yep. If you can hear grumbling, my stomach's growling. So Alex said, well done to that lad for trying to expose them. All these monsters will be held to account one way or another. Zena said, oh, Shannon, how much of a tart do you think I am? Zena said, that kid better watch his back. Flyby said, good evening, good day to my lovely Hev. Hope you're well. You sound great. Yeah, I've actually still got the headache from yesterday, but it's not as bad. So I can at least function today, but it's still there in the background. And I was going to go pick my granddaughter up, but I'm thinking of just having a day off and... because I've still got the hair. I don't want it to get any worse. And if it does get any worse, then I can't look after her. I'm just like, if it gets worse, I'm fucking hopeless, right? I've got to crawl in the bed and just go, So, yeah. Shannon said, just continuing the jokes from the start of the chat wasn't aimed at you, Zena. Deb said, Shannon needs a safe space to avoid paper cuts. Zena said, I'm kind of hoping that Black Mirror with the kid and the porn, I hope that is... real in these predators' lives. I hope they get busted, to be honest. I really just want them all freaking millstones, millstones. Sal said, shame about what the Smithsonians have dumped out in the ocean over the years. Oh, they've also been known for having fake bones and shit, made of cement and, what was the other thing? What you make, ceramic, cement and ceramic shit. Allegedly, I don't know for sure. Zena said, Zal, safekeeping for future generations to discover. How you going, Zal? Good to see ya. Shannon said, Zal, pal, how's your hurts? George said, I've not watched Black Mirror. Oh, you got to watch it. It's crazy. That's what we were headed for. Dealey said, yes, it is, Zal. How you doing? Zena said they'll get sick of digging through the plastic and finding nothing in our society valuable. Deb said, bloody bastard Smithsonians. Alex said, funny how that new online bill is supposed to be for things like this, but instead they go after people who are speaking truth and trying to disrupt their narrative or speak out about how wrong it is. Exactly. Zena said, even an historical narrative. Yes, the Smithsonian are responsible for a lot of misinformation about our history. Yeah, I heard fake dinosaur bones. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true, but I'm just saying I've heard. Also, the missing link between Neanderthals and humans. They got a chimp's top half or bottom half jaw of the jaw, or the top half of the skull, and put it together with the humans and said that was the missing link. I don't know. I'm just saying what I've heard. Zal saying hello to everybody. George said the online bill won't protect kids, Alex. No, if it was, kids can still access porn sites. So how does that work? It's just to stop them getting bullied on social media. How do you stop bullying? You stand up to it. Alex said, I haven't watched Black Mirror either, but I know the jest. Lots of predictive programming, George. Zeta said, but have you said something mean? You need to be destroyed. Hypocrites making money of their own wickedness, monetising the exposure. Flyby said, Zal, oh yeah, what you reckon about the rest? You've never heard about? Crazy how our history goes back thousands of years, more like millions of years. J1 said, oh shit, we just had an earthquake, Fraser Coast, Queensland. What, really? I just sat through the tremor. Oh, hang on a sec. Oh, that's not how you spell earthquakes. Neither is that. I've got my fingers in the wrong spot. Earthquakes, Australia? Geoscience, earthquakes, Australia. Oh, you did too. It was a big one, was it? It was a 5.6 magnitude. Wow. Wow, that's interesting. How do I go back? How do I get the rest of Australia in there? Where's my zoom button? There we go. One in Melbourne. Okay, wow. J1, stay safe in there. Shannon said Netflix is all predictive programming. Yep. Delia said, same here in Illinois. Redistricting needs to be done. So many have been able to escape Illinois. Most went to Florida. There you go. Shannon said Obama were balls deep in it. Yeah, both of them. Zena said, George, the episode involves some sick blackmail and extortion, but within our communities. Yes, it does. J1 said, boom, bet it was about 4.2 at 10K depth. Let's see if I'm right. Okay, it was 5.6 depth of 10 kilometres. You were right on the kilometre depth, J1. But you're a bit, it was a bit more than a 4.2. Deb said, did the earth move for you, J1, during my live stream? George said, okay. Alex and Zena. Delia said, wow, J1. Sherry said, one could only hope the Democrat Party disappears. Alex said, like the Cameron pig's head thing. Yes, that was... There was something about a UK Prime Minister and a pig on Black Mirror. He had to do something to the pig to get the princess of another country released or something on live TV. J1 said, yep, army base up the road from me as well. There you go. Alex said, David Cameron. Zena said, oh, Alex, I actually threw up. George said, Cameron the wanker. Shannon said, use the Dems' own weapons and tactics against them. That's the only way to win. Zal said, fly by shoe, we're eternal, never die. All of our histories go back to the millions or billions of years. J1 said, the trees were the first thing I was looking at then, lols. Oh, yeah. You'd be able to see it, no worries. Flyby said, Alex, let's see how this shit goes. Trump, etc. on our side, but I'm not keen on Farage. Shannon said, sounds biblical to me. Got a cough. Hang on a sec. Sorry, Alex, I just got it. Sorry, guys, I've had my sound off since I coughed. Got it. Sorry, Alex, I got it. Okay, where was I up to? Zena lifted my chair. Okay, as long as, where did I get? Just a bit shaken. Shaken, not stirred. That's what I said. J1 said Deb was a bit unexpected. Flyby said scumbags. Deb said it's always unexpected. Sal said half flyby all my life. I know that feeling, mate. Don't worry, I know as soon as you ring Alex, I'm looking at my volume and going, oh shit, my mic's off again. Yeah, Deb said, was it just one, J1? J1 said, yep, about 5 seconds worth. Alex said, please stay safe up there, J1, definitely. Sal said, there's no war in Russia. All fatiguers in the US are going to reap what they sow. J1 said, might have a scotch. D-Lee said, cash is really short. J1's laughing. Flyby said, Zal, it's not only me then. Lol. Deb said, I remember years ago the wall and windows were moving, very unsettling. I remember when it happened here, like the windows started rattling. It only went for a few seconds, but my son come out and I said, did you? I thought a truck went past, you know, did you feel that? And he goes, yeah. What was it? I said, I don't know, I think it was an earthquake. Because I was waiting for a truck to go past. There was no sound, though. Just like when I mute myself, you know, there's no sound. Deb said double scotch, I think. Shannon said, I can see the bug eyes in my mind. I've Adam Schiff. Yeah, getting information from those two comedians. Alex said, someone's getting the sack, Adam Schiff. Zena said, J1, when I was in Tassie, that meteorite shot over Bernie, sitting there, the whole unit shook. I thought it was thunder. Sal said, coffee time or tea time, whatever you want. J1 said, Zena, wild stuff. Flyby said, just remember, if you can't swim, dead bodies float. So, Deb said, wow, Zena. Flyby Stu said, Alex, Shift needs to be in jail. Yes, he does. Alex said, I think they all need to be at this point, Flyby Stu. Deb said, yeah, Flyby Stu, yes, they do. Alex said, I remember you saying that a couple of years ago about the steel and concrete. Have all the buildings crumbling? Yes. Because China's been selling all of our countries cheap, weak steel, okay, using the good stuff for themselves. And believe it or not, it was actually Q that mentioned it, yeah. Flyby Stu said, fact, I'm kidding at this point, they took the pish, in my opinion. Senator said, our residents, you mean the illegals and the criminals? J1 said, Deb, about 15 odd years ago, right along the Moreton coast, all the bills were wobbling strangely for a few seconds. I watched 10-inch steel beams move like plasticine. Wow. J1 said they said it was a sonic boom. Alex said, I think they should all be in prison, Flyby. Deb said, that's crazy, J1. Yeah, it is. Santa said, P.S. I think it landed in Bass Strait somewhere. It didn't make it to Melbourne. No tsunami, though, lols. Santa said, when is someone going to remind everyone that Ghislaine Maxwell is a citizen of Terramar? She may be illegally held. There you go. Shannon said, maybe it's a trap trying to lure Trump into this mess. Shannon said, I thought I heard the lawsuit was dropped. No. Yeah, Deb said, you can't trust her. D-Lee said, yes, Zena. Did she just get work release? Zena said, yes, Alex, even the buildings were intended for planned obsolescence. Flyby Stu said, Hev, please don't get triggered for fuck's sake. Where do you think you get your reality from? What do you mean? Was I triggered? Was I triggered? No, I was just pointing out her bullshit. Oh, dear. Okay, where are we? I've got to look for the triggered... there we are. Alex said, I thought she said she was supposed to be his dad. I never really liked Candace. Well, yeah, she's made a lot of accusations and said she knew for a fact, but, you know, now she's saying free speech. No, that's just if you're, like, saying, look, allegedly, you know. I don't know for sure. It's taught me a few things, I'll tell you that, even though I don't like Candace anymore. It's taught me a few things about, you know, allegedly, allegedly. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah, she did say it was supposed to be his dad, and I don't know. So it's not about the genitals, it's the deception. Yeah, there's the deception that counts, yeah. Deb said, I was wondering, Zeta, how they could hold G. Maxwell for so long with no charges. D. Lee said, yes, Alex, she did claim that. Alex said, it's so dangerous, especially in high-rise buildings, Zena. D. Lee said, yes, Zena. Zena said, they're all citizens of another place, and that's why we can't seem to do anything to them. There are restraints above the Constitution. Tim said, Candace has left the rails. I'd bet the First Lady of France is a man, but you're effing around with some powerful government folks. You're about to set a precedent in the courts. Yeah. I guess we'll find out. I'll follow the story, see what happens, you know. I won't watch her, but I will follow the story. Shannon said, my scrambled chicken ovulations are delicious. Oh, you're making me hungry, Shannon. Deb said, dummy chicken ovulations scrambled. Oh, yummy, she meant. Alex said, I thought it was something like that and something to do with one of her dead siblings. It was such a strange story, dear Lee. Zen said, for Candace, and your point? Why her out of all the thousands to choose from? D. Lee said, I agree, Timmy. Well, she's the one who has, you know, I don't know, has anyone else said they absolutely, positively have proof? Because that's what Candace was saying. Yeah, there you go, Lifeline, 131114. Shannon said, Windows, I was saying hello to Hev's having a brain fart. D. Lee said, yes, a strange story for sure. Zena said, D. Lee work release, you mean like they gave to Jeffrey? Deb said, no, not even Hev, eat their chicken. Flyby said, another thing I forgot to tell you, you can't polish a turd, but you can always roll it in glitter, lol. Alex said, I know, I hope your chickens are okay, but I'm glad you're feeling better. Yeah, so am I, actually. Yesterday was a really bad day. Dealey said, Zena, yes, I just heard or read about it 2 or 3 days ago that she has been given work release and is out. Ghislaine, oh, okay. Tim has said, that's for Australia, Hev. What's America's lifeline number? Okay. Let me have a look. America's lifeline. Hang on. What's it called in America? Oh, there you go, 988 Lifeline. If you need emotional support, ring 988 Lifeline in America. There you go. Oh, look, they've even got an LGBTQI, right? They've got a chat, professional initiatives, maternal mental health, careers and coping during community unrest. Wow. Okay, so if you're in America, that's Lifeline. What is it in England? If you're in England. Okay, apparently you just jump on the website. Where's the contact? There it is. It's not working. Contact Lifeline. Oh, there you go, 131114. Same number. Wow, New England Northwest. Hang on. That's New England. That's in Australia, you bloody idiots. What are you doing? Oh, there you go. Hotlines in England. No. What do you got? What do you got? Oh, shit, you got all different numbers for all different places, man. By the look of it. Telephone 0800 689 5652. Okay? The Samaritans are 116123. If you have a problem with anything I'm saying, please ring Lifeline in one of your countries. Whichever country. Okay? Oh, dear. Deb's laughing at Flyby Stew. Tim said, what if we Americans don't know how to Google? Guess we just die. Yep, and Alex is laughing at Timo. Lady Stardust, how you going? Back from the farmer's market. Oh, I'd love to go to a farmer's market. Deb said, well, you'll need to put in the rest of the world. Lifeline. Yep, I just did, I think. Oh, I missed Canada. Hang on. What's Canada's lifeline? Oh, that was the wrong. Okay. Contact Canada Lifeline. It's Medical Alert System. 1-866-784-1992. That's Lifeline in Canada. There you go. I think I got most of it anyway. Okay, J1 said, I knew an old lady who swallowed a fly. Perhaps she'll die. Wasn't that a poem? Deb said, Shannon, well done. Maybe the earth moved when I turned over. And Deb said, hello, Lady Stardust, and laughing at Tim Air. Deployed airbags, Deb said. Deb said, so she swallowed a spider. Zane said, Dealey, I don't like the thought of Gizzo roaming around free. I hope she's wearing an ankle monitor. Yeah. Dealey said, J1, I swallowed a June bug once while bike riding at night. It hit the back of my throat so hard it nearly knocked me off the bike. Really? Wow, Dealey. Shannon said, yeah, I watch Bigfoot's vlog, mate. He's very fit and reports on the run. Why is every photo you see of Bigfoot blurry? We've got such good cameras these days, but no one can take a clear picture. Interesting that. Alex said, on a horse, of course, Deb. Starchild said, get your father-in-law to bail you out. See, Owens, after all, he is a lord. Yes, her husband's apparently he's got a lot of money. But she's asking her viewers to fund her legal costs. So, I don't know, I'm just really sus on that, you know. Considering I was listening to her for a long time, you know, I kind of think, oh, wow, okay. Not who I thought she was, but there you go. Dealey said, Zena, as if an ankle monitor matters. J1 said, Dealey, yeah, bugs are like bullets on a bike, lol. Deb said, ABC sweet soy sauce. Is that ketchup menace? I don't know. Lady Stardust said, I used to live in Yorkshire. Zena said, Dealey, true love, I'm kidding myself. Starchild said, Deb, chat mods in the bush. Hello, lol. Zena said, there are too many people in our world that thinks pedo's okay. Did they ask the children? Children can't consent anyway. Oh, my tea went cold because my candle went out. Anyway, Dealey said, J1, true, I felt it fight like heck going down my throat. Oh, no. Oh, Dealey. I can nearly imagine that. Like, I can imagine it. I can really put myself in your shoes and, oh, my God, no. Deb said, yes, headaches suck. Oh, I don't know, that one yesterday was bad. Deb said, fake. Do you mean Hev? Yep. Alex said, I know, it makes me sick and so angry, Zena. Deb said, fish sauce, sweet soy. Okay. So a mixture, that's why. Lady Stardust said, dinosaurs, no dragons, yes. So many cultures have dragons, not dinosaurs. Yes, I believe there were dinosaur bones that were made of concrete and ceramic and stuff like that. Oh, not ceramic, it's probably something else. Alex said they had to lie about all our history or people would know the truth about God. That's why there's so much evil in this world ran by the devil. Flyby said, Alex, be careful what you wish for. Words are spells. Well, spells are welcome. Zena said Lucy was fake. Yeah, there's a lot of fake ones, you know, like, and, seriously. They need to be held accountable too. Dealey said, yes, Alex. Zena said, don't know how spell check got that one. Yeah, Leia Ura, fake. Ua. I don't even know what. Alex said, yeah, I know, you're right. I rebuke all evil, Flyby. Dealey said, right, Lady Stardust. Yep. Alex said, I think there probably were dragons too, Lady Stardust. Yeah, he's just saying that the dragons were real, but the dinosaurs weren't, I think. Is that what you're saying? Because that's what I heard too. Deb said, play elevator music in this section. Alex said, no sound, you're muted, Hev. Deb said, oh, crickets, yep. Deb said, I've gone deaf. Alex said, no worries, Hev, you're back. Yeah, because as soon as you rang me, I was like, I know what I've done wrong. Looked at my volume and realised it was off and went, oh, shit. Santa said, it is what it is, regardless of what we do or don't do. It is the she who must be obeyed. Shannon said, Hev's having a minute off silence because she knows I'm going to the dishes. To do the dishes? Deb said, I didn't know who was going to ring Hev. Yep. Flyby Stu said, Alex, stop saying sick and anything you say, it'll come back on you. That's how things work, universal. But they are sick. Oh. Where am I up to? Okay. So he said, not only did I throw up, I didn't speak to my son for a month after having me watch it. Oh, is that the Black Mirror thing? Yeah, it was very hard to watch. Some episodes are so hard to watch, it's like, oh geez. Like, yeah. And that was one of them, the UK Prime Minister one and the one where they caught the pedos. Or they blackmailing each other and all that shit. Deb said, the Ganges have been declared dead. Go figure. Deb said, shit, Shannon. Zena said, Shannon, get a boombox. You can hear even if you don't see. Alex said, oh, okay. Can I say disgusting, vile, etc., flyby? Alex said, I was only saying how these monsters make me feel, flyby. Yep, Deb's got the popcorn. Shannon said, I used to work with a guy named Bernie Burns. Imagine if he lived in Tassie in a town called Bernie and then set himself on fire. Oh, no, I don't even want to think about that one, Shannon. Alex said, yeah, I don't think she could know for a fact unless she's been in the men's locker room. Yeah, like unless they got photos of, like, Macron with a penis. Bridget, I mean. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you got proof. Like, that's why I say at the beginning of mine, everything here is theory until proven fact because I have no proof of most of it, you know? Shannon said it's a distraction from he was 14 and she was his teacher. Good one, Shannon. That's exactly what it is. It doesn't matter whether she's male or female. She's a pedo. Okay? That's simple as that. Flyby said, Alex, you know the score. I'm just here to remind you because I care about you and everyone else who's here. I've had to train my own vocabulary. It's not been easy. Take care. Zena said, Zal, do you know that song, The Man Who Sold the World? Alex said, I don't know if she's a man, but to be fair, I don't really care. There are far more important things to think about, like all our rights slowly being stripped away while everyone's too busy. Exactly. I'd like to know one way or the other whether it's a man or a woman. Some kind of proof, I don't know. But, you know, apparently Candace Owens has been given the proof as well and she just won't release it. I don't know. It's just all accusation at the moment. Deb said, it was a teacher. Dealey said, Flyby Stu, I too have had to retrain my thoughts and speech and the words I use. Shannon said, Lifeline, aka MK Ultra Shortlist inductions. Yes, I agree, Shannon. Alex said, I know you are and thank you for letting me know. I appreciate it and I do listen. Love you, mate, Flyby Stu. Deb's laughing at Shannon. Zena said, gonna be rude via Tim Dillon. Show us your... Zena, I'm not reading that one. I'm sure you can read it for yourself in the comments. J1 said, Canadians are too polite to bother Lifeline. Oh, God love them. Deb said, for crazy, number 1, for ugly, 2, life and death, number 3. Deb said, Bigfoot's is multidimensional. Hey, Kai, how you going? Good to see ya. Kai said, Canadian troops in World War II tossed corned beef tins into German trenches during supply shortage. German troops call for more, please, in the second round with grenades. Oh, no. Alex said, hiding behind a tree, Bigfoot. I think things like that probably do exist, but also think people try and hoax it to get the numbers and likes, which ruins it if it ever does turn out to be true. Yes, I believe there are cryptid creatures. Possibly. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about Bigfoot, though. I don't know. We'll find out in the end, I suppose. Flyby Stu, so there you go, deal it. Oh, God love you.
Pixie Dust 523 tipped $10. Late attendance fee.
Oh, God love you. Thank you, Pixie Dust, you legend. Who's that now? Is that Starchild again? Pixie Dust? Let me know. You can let me know, whoever it is. Thank you, guys. But you're legends. Okay. Flyby Stu said, there you go, Dealey. I battled with language myself a long time back. It's amazing how things are really working in this crazy world. I wish I'd known when I was learning at school. Yep. Zal said, I'm back. What have I missed, folks? I don't know. How long were you gone for? Kai said, hi, everyone. Hey, going, Kai. Zena said, LOL's Lifeline has an international call centre. Arlo, this is referring. Okay. There you go. Deb said, hello there. I was wondering how you're going, Kai. And Alex is saying hello to Kai and Tony. Shanna said she swallowed a spider that wiggled and giggled and squirmed inside her. A spider, right? A spider. Yeah, sure. Oh, it's Raven. Oh, God love you. Thank you, Raven. God love you. You're a legend. Dealey said, yes, Flyby, that's what truly needs to be taught in school. Kai said, Zena, it's hard to explain. Few seizures, just refuse to stop yet. Oh, God love you, Kai. Praying for Kai, everyone. Shanna said, that's why it's called spelling. Yep, Kai, love you guys. You too, Kai. Everyone pray for Kai as well, as Dolores. Alex said, I see what you mean now. Don't direct it to me, as in it makes me. I won't do that anymore. Flyby Stu, I got it when Hev read it out. It made sense. Oh. Where am I? It just jumped again. Okay, around here somewhere. Dealey said, hey, Cobra Kai. Deb's laughing at Shannon's jokes. Alex said, love you too, Kai. Dealey said, how you doing, Kai? Everyone's saying hello, Kai. Zena said, Hev, I know my hands would be shaking and I probably wouldn't get a clear picture either if it was you. Yeah, probably, yeah. Yeah. But you'd think with the technology we've got these days, even a blurry picture, even if you can't hold the camera straight, it does have an option to use a thing to stabilise your camera so it doesn't show the shaking so much. At least it does on my phone anyway. Kai said, it's hard to explain. I'm fine. Deb said, sick means good in youth talk. Alex said, I should have said they are sick, not makes me sick. Yeah. They are sick, yeah, they are. But, yeah. We're not. No, we're good. Alex said, yeah, I know, that makes me cringe, Deb. Shanna said, Bruce Willis swallowed a spider and 12 monkeys. Dealey said, Kai, you have been missed. You are loved here. Yes, definitely. Yes, Shannon and Kai talking about the joke from way back. Raven said, g'day, beautiful Hev fam. God love you, Raven. And how you going? Deb said, it's all for entertainment purposes only. Yeah, Shannon, fully sick in, well, you can say that word because a lot of them call themselves Wog Talk, apparently. Kai said, I'm usually watching, but I keep quiet if my mood's particularly dark. Shannon said, pedo. Alex said, yeah, that's what I thought. She has groomed him since she was 14 and she was 40, definitely a pedo, yeah. That's more the story you want to follow on with that one. Like, we can guess and joke and carry on about this looks like a very handsome female, you know, but I don't know for sure. They just don't look right to me. I don't know. They could be taking some steroid shit that makes them look masculine. I don't know. But they look, you know, I will say it when I see it. I'll say, oh, very handsome lady, that one. And I will ask, is that a man? Man? That looks like a man, you know? But I don't know for sure. Deb said, hello, Raven, beautiful family. Zal said, that's David Bowie, Zena. Kai said, the red heifer was sacrificed recently. Oh, really? Flyby said, Alex, you're welcome, and anybody on here, same trumpet. If I can help you, I will. Anything as I charge a small fee, a belly laugh is required. Deb said, we're always thinking of you and praying for you. Dealey said, Kai, I sensed you were lurking. Alex said, I heard that. I heard it was possibly a trial run, but you never know with this lot, Kai. And Raven said, that was me. God love you. Kai said, sorry, I just called you Kay. Oh, my God. Kai said, Dealey, lately I've been bringing silence to the rooms just before I enter. Yeah, and Alex was the one. Yep, Raven. Awesome pixie dust, Raven. Zane said, yeah, but Kurt Cobain unplugged. I must have died a long time ago. I met you a long time ago. We just all recycled my shizzle, hoping for the best. Oh, dear. Where am I now? Somewhere here, somewhere. Oh, Deb said, Humphrey is making a comeback from Channel 9. Can anybody remember her? Not really. Humphrey. No, it's not it. That's fucking Flintstones. Oh dear, I don't know. Humphrey the fun-loving bear. Oh, that's all I know. Because he never had underpants on, but he's furry and he doesn't have any, like, you can't tell if he's male or female, and he's a male anyway, but you can't tell, you know.
Anonymous tipped $10. Lots of love to have from the Moon family.
Oh, God love ya, Raven. I see you can change your name all over the place on this thing. Oh, God love you, you legend. Okay, where am I up to? I was trying to sing Humphrey's song. I can't remember much of it. But yeah, they took him off because he had no pants on. Well, he wasn't showing anything anyway. He's furry, okay? Zeta said, if Candace had definitive, irrefutable proof, it's in her interest to save it for the court case. Yes. We'll find out, you know. Kai said, Raven, thanks. I'm sure every bit helps. Yeah, everyone's saying hello, Raven. Zeta said, make the enemy think you're weak when you are strong. Yes. Alex said, I think they are called a gimbal or something like that, anti-shake for camera. Well, mine's got a built-in anti-shaking like it. In the settings of the camera, if you go into the camera and you go into the settings, mine's got something that helps with shaking anyway. Flyby said, Alex, that's all it takes unless you do want to know, lol. J1 said, I see a big wave coming. Should I be concerned? A wave of what? If it's water, maybe? I don't know. Kai said, Alex, I need one of those. And Kai said, J1, I probably would be, honestly. Deb said, J1, how close are you to the coast? Yeah, that's what I want to know. How close are you? If you can see it coming, then you might be closer than we thought. You just stay safe up there. Get to high ground, maybe. I don't know. Sherry said, Candace would have had more proof of saying Big Mike's a dude. Yeah, why didn't she go after Big Mike? I don't know. Okay, yep, Zal, Mr. and Mr. Macron. J1 said, lols. George said, are you near the ocean, J1? J1 said, George, yep, on the coast. Kai said, J1 just had a quake, yes, a 5.6. Deb said, got a surfboard or a boat, J1? I don't know, do mattresses sink or do they float? Just sit on your mattress and go for a ride on the waves, I don't know. Sorry, I was just making a joke out of it, I shouldn't. You stay safe up there, J1, seriously. Alex said, I think the gimbal is for when you're on the move or a tripod, you're staying in one place. Dealey said, you on high ground, J1? Flyby said, Zal, give it up, brother, lol. Kai said, there's a mountainside in Alaska that's about to drop. It'll be around a 1,700-foot wave. Oh, really? Alex said, I need to get both, lol, Kai. J1 said, Deb, nah, a couple of mates have yachts though, lols. Sal said, they'll ruin Here's Humphrey if they bought it back. Deb said, sounds like a pedo song. Alex said, yabba dabba doo, Hev. Yeah, here I was singing the bloody Flintstones song in my head. Like I thought it was trying to think of the lyrics to Humphrey, and then it went into the lyrics of Humphrey with the Flintstones tune. Deb said, what a funny old fellow is Humphrey. Oh, yeah, Humphrey the fun-loving bear. And that's all I can remember. And thanks to Deb, because she just reminded me. Awesome, Raven, yes. George said, okay, Jay, is there a threat of a tsunami? I don't know. I suppose we might be able to find out, though. If I can get my fingers on the right Okay, we should find out from here. No, not yet. Magnitude, we've already got that. 5.8 now. MLA is 5.6 preferred. What does that mean? Is that like two-party preferred system? Okay, stations. Oh, shit. It's a lot of stations. Seismograms. Looks like it was a good one. That's not telling me if there's any tsunamis expected. What do these mean? I'll look at them in a minute. Shake, felt, grid and others. Okay, what are these things? It's not showing me, not telling me. Oh, that was where it was felt. All those blue things. It's not really telling me. Let's go for tsunami warning. Queensland Tsunami Bulletin. There is no tsunami threat to Queensland. Last updated 10:03 a.m. That was before your quake, I think. Go back. What's this? And how long ago is it? 2 weeks ago. Okay, great. No, July 30th, no, June 2024, no, we don't need them. Okay, well, from what I can find, there isn't one yet. Keep an eye out, though, J1, for sure. I don't know, have you got a radio? Listen to the radio, maybe? I don't know. George said, okay, Jay, is there a threat of tsunami? Yep. Zena said, that old song, Chirp, Chirp. Oh, God, love ya.
Pixie Dust 523 tipped $20.
Oh, God love ya. Raven, you legend. God love ya. Still praying for your family too, by the way. Yep. Making sure hopefully everyone's okay and your hubby's okay and everything. Oh, God love ya. Thank you so much. Okay, Chirp, Chirpy, Cheap, Cheap from the 70s, big hit written by Jimmy Savile. Oh no, really? Deb said, Skippy's on an early morning. Raven said he was off TV for a reason. If you know, you know. Was he a pedo? Oh no. Kai said, hope you're all right, J1. Yeah, Alex said, stay safe, J1. Shannon said, hope he found his pants. Deb said, yes, that's what I was thinking, Raven. J1 said, George, no, I wouldn't think so. Pretty sure the quake was on land. Where am I up to? Here, around here somewhere. Janelle said, checking on Higgins storm chasing, and it reached down the southeast Queensland coast to over New South Wales border near Brisbane, but didn't feel it. Suburbs around me did though. Oh, wow. Thanks, Janelle. That's great info. Alex said, hopefully there won't be any aftershocks. Deb said, did the water go out first? Yeah, you can normally tell from the water sucking back before it comes in. Kai said, if a guy can hide his snake in his bush, it's what? Not a snake, it's a button? So he said, I don't think Queensland can get a tsunami because we have the Great Barrier Reef protecting our coastline. Shannon said, Patsy Biscuit. What's that from? I remember that. What's that from? J1 said, my girlfriend has a pair of floaties. I'll hang on to her. Yeah, exactly. Flyby said, Zena, please don't mention monsters on here, but I still have your back. Raven said, praying for your safety, Jay. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, everyone. Yep. Deb said he gets in all manner of strife. That's Humphrey again. Okay, I've got bits and pieces. Thanks, Deb. Sal said he leads a very exciting life and honey is his favourite fare. Oh, there you go. Zal's chiming in. I just can't remember the whole bloody song of it. Kai said, wait till there's quakes around the ring of fire for sustained time like shaking, bath, shower? World? George said, ring of fire, good tune. Is that the down, down, down on that burning ring of fire? Alex said, apparently no tsunami risk, which is great news. Kai said, there's even a fault line about 75 miles from here. J1 said, another dumbed down deep state destruction. Yeah, I think so. 10 kilometres deep sounds like it. Alex said, I think we're all going to start feeling earthquakes soon. Oh, Janelle's into it too. He leads a very exciting life and honey's his favourite fare. Lol, Deb, taking me back to childhood. Yes. It's just been so long since I've heard Humphrey's Okay, why'd that pop up now? Yeah, that I heard the theme song for Humphrey B. Bear that, I can't remember I remember the little bit, but that's about it. Shannon is, got the honey pot there. Zane said, I apologise, Stu, just one of those dots that people need to understand when putting it all together. We truly live in darkness. George said, I felt a mild tremor in London years ago in my old flat. Delay said, Kai, we're on the same fault line. Deb said, I bet Winnie the Pooh was on psychedelic honey. Sal said, who listens to the radio? That's what I'd like to know. Oh, I don't know. I don't, actually. Not even when I'm in my car anymore. Alex said, best always stay vigilant, though, after a quake has hit just in case there is a tsunami. Yeah. So it's funny how in this darkness and getting darker, we're actually seeing the light. It's terrifyingly beautiful. I agree, Zena. Kai said, I believe so. I'm in Montgomery County, Middle Tennessee. Yeah, Alex said, awesome, Raven. God love you, honestly. Kai said, snug against Fort Campbell. Dealey said, true, Zena. Raven said, HB was a rock spider. Okay, so he was. Oh. Hopefully they've replaced him with someone who's not. Rock spider here in Australia means pedo. Hopefully not. Zena said, oh, Janelle, I just worked out where that song came from. Poor H. Zal said, weather manipulation 101 going on worldwide. I agree. Deb said, I went to Channel 9 when a child we saw Winky Dink. Duck. A little duck. Janelle said, Zal, I was a sports fan too. Shannon said, from Fast Forward Comedy Show. Yep, George's given Raven thumbs up. Zal said, just remember Janelle who could not. Kai said, it's 7:11 here. Wow. Deb said, women are stronger than men. We carry ladder in our stockings. Yeah, different type of ladder. Deb said 12:42 a.m. George said, lol, Deb. Everyone's lolling at Deb. Deb said, open wide, come inside. That's play school. I know that one. And I could even, can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street? It's a long way from here. I'll tell you that much. Even Postman Pat, and his black and white cat. Early in the morning, just as day is dawning, he picks up all the post bags in his van. Oh, can't get that low. Okay. Anywho, I know a lot because I've had children and grandchildren, and yeah, you hear it, you know. As they said, I used to live around the corner from Tony Bonner from Skippy. He was hot back in the day. Yep, Janelle, it's play school. Shannon said, Humphrey run off with Fat Cat. I remember Fat Cat too. We had one called Fat Cat, yeah. Dealey said, I listened to the radio, KSHE 95 Real Rock Radio. Santa said, I didn't feel it here on the border. Alex said, I listen to the radio when I'm driving as I have an old-fashioned van, no Bluetooth, lol. Janelle said, oh, I love Tony Boner too. Boner? I don't know. Sorry, I might have said that wrong. Okay, Hev. Alex said, oh, good old-fashioned CDs, there's nothing on the radio, lol. Janelle said, what's that, Skip? Yeah, someone in trouble, Skip? Take us to him, Skip. Deb's laughing at Shannon. Sarah said, and I was crazy about the pilot and the flying doctors. Kai said, oh, by the way, that guy, Big Balls, went 1 verse 10. He really got some big balls. He does, yes. Yeah. Deb said Channel 9ers. Shannon said ladders and stockings, a.k.a. Stairway to Heaven. Oh, dear. Zal said Sesame Street is woke these days. Hev, yes, I know. Dealey said how to get to Sesame Street. Joe1 said Shannon. Raven said, I swear sometimes those songs drive you crazy. Yes. Deb said, very good, Hev. They do. I remember them from that long ago when my kids were little. I haven't watched Sesame Street since my kids were little, right? And I still remember that. I haven't seen Postman Pat since then, and I still remember that. Alex said, someone's fallen down the well. Great show, Janelle. Yep. Sal said, Fat Cat was not as good as Humphrey. No, definitely not. George said, I prefer vinyl than CDs, lol. Deb said, sure, Hev. Dealey said, Raven, I bet you listen to him over and over. Deb said, Humphrey's the one without the pants. Yes. Didn't Fat Cat have no pants as well? I don't know. Deb said all the young children had to go to bed at 7 when Fat Cat went to bed. Sal said, oh, my balls. Why? What happened? Kai said, I hate when that happens. Alex said, I could imagine having one of those in my van or wind-up gramophone, George. So he said, do you want to dance under the moonlight? Hug me, kiss me, baby, all through the night. Where's that music gone? I'm trying to place that song. Can't. Deb said, the highlight of Storman's day watching Skippy. George said, I thought Skippy was the kangaroo. He was, yeah. Skip. Skip. What's wrong, Skip? Lead us there, Skip. Show us, Skip. Yeah, he was the bush, Skippy, the bush kangaroo. Skippy, 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 a friend ever true. I remember that one too, from when I was little. Now that's gone back, shit. Well. Yeah, Skippy was a kangaroo, George. Raven said nope, aliens from Sesame Street. Oh, I love them. Yep. Kai said I'm old enough to sit those sagging bastards if I'm not careful. Deb said the old originals will do. Only the originals will do. Zena said, yes, Stuart Bush kangaroo. Sal said Fat Cat used to make fun of Humphrey because he had no duds and couldn't talk. Oh, so Fat Cat did have pants, did he? Zena said, but I think he was actually a wallaby. Probably, yeah, Skippy was probably a wallaby. If not, he was a small kangaroo, sort of, yeah. Not one of the big muscly ones, anyway. Flyby said, if we can remember to fuck all this shit off, we have a better chance of coming out of this. If you're in the UK, I don't know what to tell you. Prepare for the worst. We've got another 4. See you in the NTs. J1 said, there's a bear in there and a chair as well. There are people with games and stories to tell. Open wide, come inside his play school. Okay. Alex said they all had no pants and Winnie the Pooh. Janelle said, and a chair as well. Sarah said, come on, Skip. What's that, Skip? 2 men at the bottom of the cliff. Let's go, Skip. Yep. Deb said, Google Fat Cat. He had pants with suspenders. Okay. There you go. Alex said, ooh, I was thinking of Lassie. Oh, yeah, Lassie too, but I can't remember the song. George said he used to watch Mr. Ben. Alex said, that's why I put what was it? A dog? Sal said, who remembers cat weasels? Who remembers the Wombles? Wimbledon, Wombledon, something. J1 said, play school, Timu, Sesame Street. Janelle said, yes, Alex, just thinking of Donald Duck, Daisy Duck, Winnie, Humphrey, Top Cat. Shannon said, Fat Cat had lederhosen. He was dressed like a German dancer. Okay. Zena said, lols, Hev, Tony, Boner. I can't stop laughing. Bonner. It's double N. Bonner. It changes it. If it was a 1N, it would be Boner. But it's double N, which means it's Bonner. Sorry, guys. And sorry, Mr. Bonner. If you're listening, I doubt that's happening. George said, I do, Zal. Zal said Rainbow was pretty good back in the day. Janelle said, oh yes, cat weasel scared me. Deb said, get a leaf, make it whistle, Joey. Alex said, those wombles were creepy. Oh, the banana splits too, yes. Shannon said, Wurzel Gummidge. Why have I heard of that? And what was the other one? They weren't wombles, they were... Oh, and it wasn't the banana splits either. There was another one. Started with an F, maybe? Can't remember. Frazzle Rock. Oh, no, that sounds too much like the other Frazzle Drip. How you going? Just chilling. Good to see ya. Flyby Stew said, George used to watch Mr. Ben and Midge and for fuck's sake, lol. Deb said, we have descended into madness. We're singing children's show songs now. Kai said, if he gets you in the water, he will drown you. He's Skippy the bush kangaroo. Deb said, all sounds very dirty to me. Sal said, got to go, folks. Much love. Student just arrived. Yeah, I'll be going in a minute too. Everyone's saying hello, just chilling. Dooley said, take care, Zal. George said, banana splits. Raven said, Bill and Ben the Flower Pot Man. I remember them. Flyby Stew said, in a bit, Zal. Janelle said, that was Muppets Frazzle Rock. Oh, was it? There you go. I remember Frazzle Rock. Deb said, bananas in pyjamas and zucchinis in bikinis. Yes. Dealey said, yes, Frazzle Rock. Shannon said, Danger Island. Oh, Jungo. Never heard of it. Alex said, Puddle Lane. Don't know if I've heard of that one either. George is saying, take care, Zal. Shannon said, Beachcombers Relic. Just chilling said, Deb, damn, I haven't heard that show in a while. Bananas in pyjamas. Bananas in pyjamas are coming down the stairs. No, is that right? Bananas in pyjamas are chasing teddy bears. Bananas in pyjamas are something catch you unawares. I don't know, some shit. I can't even remember that anymore. Alex said, Poddington Peas. Shannon said, Secret Valley. Deb said, but hard to read chat when you are laughing so much. Janelle said, I remember Adventure Island. Deb said, Teletubbies. Yeah, I don't like them things. I don't know what it is about the Teletubbies. Don't like them. Weirdos. I don't know. Not you, Deb. The Teletubbies. Shannon said, Dozer Constructions. Just chilling, said Alex. Zeta said, I think it was Donna Summer Hev, and Bette Midler did a version as well. Deb said, yes, it was Fraser Rock. Shannon said, Doozers. Raven said, EC, that faceless doll that was warped. EC, what was that? Alex said, Puddle Lane had some really strange characters. I think a lot of them did now, looking back, you know. Shannon said, Banana Man. Deb said, Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Man. Weird. Shannon said, Danger Mouse. J1 said, Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Man. Weird. Yeah, were they saying we or weed? You know? Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Man. Yeah. I don't know. Deb's laughing at Shannon. Shannon said, Mighty Mouse. Janelle said, just Googled, it was Fraggle Rock, yes. Dealey said, I have a Teletubby costume. It was my daughter's. Oh, my, really? George said, Danger Mouse was good. I reckon Inspector Gadget was good. Does anyone remember Inspector Gadget? Like the cartoon one. Zena said, I totes forgot about Adventure Island. Does anyone remember the Boogaloos with Bonita Bazaar? Not really. J1 said, uh-oh, Jungo. Shannon said, the missing white Teletubby, Spanky Wanky. Alex said, the shoe people were great. Yeah, round the twist. Have you ever felt like this? Something, 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 we're going round the twist. Zeta said, Romper Room in the Magic Circle Club with Nancy Cato are the earliest ones I can remember. Janelle said, go, go, Gadget Arms. Yeah, exactly. Kai said, Shannon, oh my God. Flyby Stew said, it's very strange how we all watch the same shit all over the world. Skippy, Sooty, Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Man, don't forget Bagpuss, lol. George said, Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Man, lol. Senior said there was a show right back Jill and Beanpole on Channel 7 in the early 60s. Wow. Alex said, I loved Inspector Gadget. Yeah, I loved the cartoon. Even when I was like slightly older, I still watched Inspector Gadget. Raven said a Canadian one was you can't do that on television. Oh, no. J1 said Adam Ant, that tiny ant. I remember that. Alex said when strange things happen, are you going round the twist? There you go. Shannon's going, Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. That was Jan Brady in the Brady movie to Marsha, obviously. And that reminds me, that's what Russia, Russia, Russia reminds me of. Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. Russia, Russia, Russia. Yeah, it's all fake. Dealey said it was television programming. J1 said with his atomic power. Yes, I remember that. Shannon said I enjoyed... Oh, I'm not reading that one out, Shannon. You nearly got me. Alex said, that's going to get stuck in my head now. We're all going round the twist. J1 said, Fritz the cat. Top cat. Top cat? Deb said, Land of the Giants. I remember that. Zena said, Round the Twist. Was that the one with the lighthouse? Can't remember. There was one with a... Does anyone remember the ghost of Mrs. Muir? And does anyone remember this Phoenix thing that was, it was a child's show, and it might have been around 1980, and there was a phoenix in the, that used to talk. Does anyone remember that? Yeah, Dealey said Land of the Lost. Janelle said, oh, yeah, Land of the Giants. Yeah, I remember Land of the Lost. Shannon said Motor Mouse and Autocat, Wacky Races. What about Penelope Pitstop? Help! Help! Janelle said, yes, Hev. You remember it? Shannon said Monkey. You mean Monkey or Monkeys? J1 said Ren and Stimpy. Raven said, yep, Round the Twist was with the lighthouse. Dealey said Captain Kangaroo. Janelle said Penelope Pitstop and Muttley. Yes. Wacky Races, wasn't it? Yep. Shannon said G-Force. Kai said, I mostly only recall the Battlestar Galactica series and some movies. Zena said, Alex, I think I loved it more than the kids. Shannon said Battle of the Planets. Oh, the young ones. The young ones. Darling, we're the young ones. The young ones shouldn't be afraid to live, love, There's a song to be sung, 'cause we may not be the young ones very long. Okay. Yep, that was worth that. Janelle said, sorry, Raven said Monkey Magic. Yeah, Janelle, Neil. I loved Neil out of the young ones. He was my favourite, mate, Neil, the hippie. Dealey said I have a box of VHS of every episode of Land of the Lost. Really? Hang on to them, Dealey. They might be worth something someday. Shannon said, Astro Boy, need another energy car so I can get these machine guns to come out my butt. Janelle said, Vivian. Yes, Vivian was good too. He was the punk that headbutted everything. Dealey said, I love the young ones. Kai said, Bob Ross and Mr. Rogers are both drill sergeants. George said, Jamie and the Magic Torch. Shannon said Monkey, no violence. Raven said Red Dwarf, the goodies. I love the goodies. Goody, 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 yum, yum. And then it goes off into a music. Anyway. I'm going to cough again, hang on. Right. This time I remembered to put the mic back on. Lighthouse Twist. Shannon said Trippy Tucker. Zeta said Thomas the Tank. Yeah, that was a bit later, I think. Thunderbirds, yes, Thunderbirds. Like Thomas the Tank was when my kids were young, I think. But yeah, I remember that one. Shannon said Bottom. Yeah, Janelle said Goody, goody, yum, yum. Deb said Lost in Space. Oh, my God. Precious Pup, J1 said. Shannon said Fab, F-A-B. Janelle said Danger, Will Robinson. Shannon said Wordsworth. Kai said if anyone has 5 Lion Vulcan Voltron doll, it's worth $1 million. Wow. Shannon said Robotech. Zena said, and we can't forget the flying nun. Yes. And Gidget. Who remembers Gidget? That was probably a little bit before. No, it was on when I was young. I watched it a couple of times. Yeah, Doctor Who too was a good one. Yep, Doctor Who was one of my favourites when I was young. Zena said, I loved Astro Boy and Prince Planet. Was Astro Boy like the, is it Chinese or Japanese anime? Was that what it was? Because if it was, he was going through the water. Was he flying through the Astro Boy? No, I'm thinking of another one. No, I don't know. Okay, George said the monkeys. Shannon said Voltron. Alex said apparently parents are showing their kids all the old 90s children's shows and they're having really positive effect on them, really calming the children down. I might try it on my nieces. I tried to get the original Scooby-Doo for my grandsons when they were living with me. Yeah, and I managed to get most of them before they changed them all up and started making new versions of them. Janelle said, yes, the Doctor Who music was spooky. Gidget just in my time, lol. Yep, Dealey said, yes, Gidget. Zeta said, Dr. Elephant. Kai said, yeah, him. J1 said, Doctor Who, the giant maggots. The Daleks. Exterminate, exterminate. Deb said, Vivian. Yeah. Shannon said, Flipper. Yeah, Flipper too. So, they call him Flipper. Flipper. Faster than lightning. Is that right? I don't even know. So said Harry and the Hendersons. Yes, that was a good movie. George said I used to love Doctor Who till it went woke. Yeah. J1, your lassie. Yes. I couldn't watch it though. It was sad a lot. It made me cry. Alex said children's shows today are all about getting them addicted to watching and so fast paced. They hate them. They have to turn them off and scream the house down. Yep. Kai said I've seen almost every episode of Doctor Who. Well done, Kai. Shannon said Astro Boy's the one with rocket feet and laser finger and machine gun that comes out of his butt. I don't know. Flyby Stu said I got a mate who went to NASA Museum. He said Blue Peter could have built a better shuttle. For fuck's sake, not even funny. Alex said lucky my nieces love reading books too. Shannon said Dr. Elephant. J1 said Claude the Crow. Aggro. Shannon said Whisper in the Willows. Dealey said, hey, with the monkeys. And people say we monkey around. Zena said Beanpole had a little cap on with a propeller on top. Yep, Janelle, and people say we monkey around. And with that, guys, I'm going to leave it there for today. I'll have tomorrow off and I'll be back on Monday. My Monday, your Sunday, if you're in the US and that. Okay, guys, I hope you have a good one. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.